Chapter 25:18. This is the person you chose. Chapter 25:18. This is the person you chose. His HP rose to full. There were no injuries on his body at all, and his strength was even more ferocious. It was just like the state Long Fei was in after leveling up. All of his attributes were fully filled, and all the wounds on his body had been healed. Long Fei's heart sank. F***K. What exactly happened in the past few minutes? The boss HP had already reached 1,000,000 points, but it only took a few minutes to recover. This was not a normal speed, and what did it mean to become stronger once again? Did he break through? That would be too darned, wouldn't it? This is 4 times the difficulty. A 12S level mission. Long Fei started to worry. If the Hellfire couldn't kill him, then he really didn't have any more moves, and would have to use everything he had. The Ju K sword was broken. Because of the limitations of the secret world's laws, the 2nd level Ghost King could not be used at all. Even if he were to use it, he might not be a match for her. The other moves were definitely not his opponent. Release the Hellfire again, even if it could create the same effect as before. However, the boss was once again sucked into the magic tower. What if it revived after a few minutes? Then, in this place, this boss had exceeded Long Fei's expectations. He had used up everything he could use. Moreover, the system's drawbacks were also apparent. Skills. When a normal martial artist used a cultivation method, their martial skills would not be limited by the time limit. As long as their body could support it, they would be able to repeatedly use it as long as their true essence was sufficient. But Long Fei couldn't. Every skill had its cooldown. Some powerful moves had a cooldown time of 1 day, after which they couldn't be used again. Thus, the more he killed, the worse Long Fei's situation would become. Suddenly, Long Fei's eyes darkened. Sky Sword. The Sky Sword that is ranked 3rd on the Universal Realms Divine Weapon ranking is also the #1 divine sword in primordial history. Long Fei moved and summoned his Sky Sword. The old man stared at Long Fei and sneered. Long Fei said, "You've already lost. Why did you still come out?" The old man disdainfully said, "If I don't die, then you won't win. Moreover, even if I die, I won't let you pass." Long Fei said, "Why are you doing this? If I open up the 10-story Devil Tower, I can solve the secrets of the Demon Pagoda. For you, it will be beneficial to the entire magic tribe." Ha ha ha. You opened up the 10-story Devil Tower? Do you think I would let a human to clear the 10-story Devil Tower? Even if I agree, do you think the Demon Tower would agree? The reason why the pagoda protected me was so that I could stop you. It would absolutely not let a lowly human brat like you pass the test, and you would absolutely not be able to obtain the secrets of the pagoda. You would absolutely not become the chosen one. He absolutely would not. Even if it meant sacrificing his life, he would not let Long Fei pass the test. Long Fei laughed. To put it in an unpleasant way, will any of the magic tribes people be able to pass the 10-story Devil Tower's test? In all these years, has there ever been anyone who has reached my level? No. Only I can pass the 10-story Devil Tower's test. Only I can bring a new future for Magic Tribe. Long Fei said he did not feel that he was great or noble. However, the cheers coming from outside the tower made him especially touched. He wanted to do something for the Magic Tribe. This could also be considered as a form of reward. This was true. The old man sneered. So what? Even if the demon towers had been silent for tens of thousands of years, I definitely wouldn't let a human pass. The demon emperor said, "Master, what's the point in doing this?" And, "Master, don't you understand what the demon pagoda is thinking? Why did he keep increasing the difficulty? Why did you use your power to repair your body? Make you stronger? Why did you use the power from the demon pagoda to bind me? It's not to stop him. It's for an even greater test. This is in itself a test for the chosen one. Don't you understand? Without waiting for the demon emperor to finish speaking, the old man shouted out, "Impudent! Demon emperor! Now, as the great clan elder of the 10 tribes, I will annul your identity as the demon emperor. You are no longer the leader of the magic tribe. And after this brat dies here, you will immediately be expelled. The 10-story Devil Tower were always left for the magic tribe, not the outsiders." And who said that the people from the magic tribe are unable to pass the test? Long Fei said, 10-story Devil Tower, 10 different trials, not to mention you, magic tribe, look at the entire Zhenwu continent. I can say, no one will be able to break through. It was like saying, everyone here is trash. Very arrogant. Very arrogant. Not only magic tribe, even Long Fei, the entire continent, did not put him in their eyes. That's crazy. However, the old man chuckled. At this moment, boom, with a dull thud, a person walked up the stairs, suppressing the demons. After the failure of the ancestor of suppressed Devil's Array forging competition, he had rushed into the demon pagoda, and as a result, the number of people in the demon pagoda had increased by 2-fold. He asked solemnly, "Who is it that no one in Magic Tribe can reach the 9th floor?" "With just you, human trash." Shinma stared at Long Fei. "Just with an arrogant form state like you?" His influence on Long Fei was still stuck at the arrogant form state. When Long Fei entered the pagoda, she was indeed using the arrogant form state, but it was just that. That was the time. As the demon-suppressing orb traveled, he did not encounter any obstructions, and it was like walking on a main road. Along the way, the tower guard was defeated by Long Fei. There was no need for him to test it. However, he did not rush to Long Fei's tower, because he was waiting for the right time to kill Long Fei. He had waited for enough time on the 9th floor. Finally, he heard a call. Demon Subduing was excited. He stared at Long Fei with contempt. Long Fei coldly glanced at the demon-suppressing orb, then looked at the old man and said, "Talking about him?" The old man said, "He is from the magic tribe. He will replace you to become the chosen one, and he will solve the secrets of the demon pagoda. All that you have done is merely his gift." Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. Kid Despair. The old man laughed. Demon Suppression also laughed out loud and said, "Lame duck, are you feeling very unhappy? Everything you've done has been to pave my way. Ha ha. You don't think so, do you? A lowly human brat like you." Long Fei was getting impatient because he heard the word trash. His gaze shifted. The power of the 5th level of the Grand Master Stage exploded out, causing a strong pressure to be felt. Boom. The instant the blood was poured into him, he was completely unable to move. At this moment, Long Fei moved and flipped over, fiercely slapping him down. Bang! The demon suppression fell to the ground. Her eyes went white and she stammered, You, aren't you from the arrogant form state? You. Before he could finish his words, his body twitched a few times. Dead. A slap instantly hit him. Long Fei looked at the old man and said, "So this is the person you have chosen." Chapter 25:19, Cracking the Heavens. Chapter 25:19, Cracking the Heavens, the system sounded out. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing clan of suppressed devil great clan elder demon suppression for obtaining 80,000 experience points, 6,000 true chi points, 1 arrogant god energy value point. Congratulations, player! As Long Fei stepped into the Mahayana realm, these peak realm powerhouses lost all their experience. Long Fei did not see what came out, but looked at the old man and repeated, "So this is the person you chose?" A piece of trash. It was an ordinary tone, but imperceptibly, this pretentious guy had a perfect score. 1 slap, 1 kill. The person you selected, trash. This was a slap towards the purple-robed elder. Moreover, it was the type of slap that made stars appear in one's eyes. It was extremely sharp. The purple-robed elder's eyes turned sinister. He never thought that Long Fei would suddenly make a move, and even more so that the grand great clan elder of the clan of Suppressed Devil would be killed with a slap. His old face was burning. The purple-robed elder's eyes were filled with an incomparably thick killing intent. At this time, the Demon Emperor said, "Master, he's the only one left now. You still." "Shut up," the purple-robed elder roared, and said angrily, "Even if no one in Magic Tribe can step onto the first 10-story Devil Tower, I will definitely not allow a single human to pass the trial. The Demon Pagoda is the sacred artifact of our Magic Tribe. I will not allow outsiders to sully it." Her eyes darkened as she stared at Long Fei. Long Fei said, "You must fight." The purple-robed elder said, "Kid, unless you step over my dead body, I will definitely not let you pass the test." Long Fei asked, "Senior, do you have to do this?" The purple-robed elder said, "It's not that it has to be this way. It has to be you. Die." As soon as the word dead came out, the huge silhouette of the purple-robed elder suddenly disappeared. In that instant, a giant hand grabbed at Long Fei's throat. Long Fei's expression tightened and shouted out loudly, "Sky Code." Second move. Sky Splitting. The sky sword moved. Long Fei's figure suddenly became as though an immortal dodging the giant hand demon fire claws. Its body shot out, landing in midair. The long sword moved as it pointed at the purple-robed elder. The purple-robed elder laughed in disdain. What? Even his weapon was gone. Using a rotten sword. "Kid, die." The huge figure sank, and the devil fire behind him burst out like a volcano. The devil fire immediately occupied the entire first 10-story Devil Tower, and waves of scarlet blood light burst out, just like at the beginning. It was just that. This time, it was even more powerful. The power of the devil fire was even more ferocious. This was the power of the Demon Pagoda. There's a bloody red light again. It's not over yet. Ha ha ha. That kid is still alive. That's amazing. Brat, you can do it. I think highly of you. Ha ha ha. Still alive, still alive. My master is still alive. The purple-clothed old man danced with joy as he waved his hands and feet. He was happy to the point that he was like a 3-year-old child. At the same time, he also heavily said, "Master, you can do it. Go for it. Go for it. Go for it." Cheers came out one after another, each of them representing the will of the people of the Magic Tribe, each representing a disciples of Magic Tribe. These sounds broke through the barriers one after another. At this moment, boom, the devilish flames on the purple-robed elder's body burned, forming an incomparably ferocious beast. The beast roared and swallowed Long Fei whole. Boom. Long Fei was swallowed by the demonic flame beast. The world instantly turned dark. It was like falling into a dark abyss. Phew. Suction. Whoosh. Inhale. Long Fei could clearly hear his own breathing, his gaze sweeping across, looking at the endless space. The sky sword in his right hand moved. Wong. The sword intent buzzed. The sword spirit fused with the sword aura and charged out. A white shadow flashed like lightning. Illusory. He was like an immortal. He was like a god. As he continued to create illusions in the endless void, streaks of Shiwanabai's brilliance flashed through the sky, as though a dazzling radiance had exploded from the cracks. The scene was incomparably shocking. Long Fei's eyes flashed with a sharp light. The sky sword began to erupt. Sky splitting. Break for me. With a furious roar, Long Fei's figure revolved around the sword intent that had appeared in the air just now. He slashed out with his sword. It was as fast as lightning. With every slash, the sky would crack open. Xuanabai's light shone on the ground. 1 sword, 2 slashes, 3, 4, 5. 1,000 strikes. 18,000 sword strikes. The endless space was just like a sky that had been pierced. It was dilapidated and tattered. And at this moment, the sky sword in Long Fei's hands retracted. Walala! 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 The void shattered, and the heavens shattered. The endless devil flames were completely extinguished, and at the same time, a series of numbers crazily floated above the purple-robed elder's head, as if he had received a ton of critical damage. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Asterisk, whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Asterisk, 421,222, 392,212, 500,002. It didn't float up one by one, but floated up in a string. It was impossible to tell how much damage it had taken. In an instant, in just a split second, his health fell to 1 million. There was only a tiny bit left. Long Fei looked at the last bit of HP and thought back to the scene with the hellfire. His expression tightened. I'll take your life while you're sick. Rotten sword. I'll let you know the power of this rotten sword. Shua. Long Fei rushed forward and landed in front of the purple-robed elder. The sky sword's chi moved. Long Fei thrust his sword towards the center of the purple-robed elder's brows. Since the mission could only be considered completed by killing him, then Long Fei did not hesitate at all. Kill. Boom. The sky sword's chi descended. This sword would be able to pierce through the old man's head, who only had a little bit of his remaining HP. But the vortex of demonic flames appeared once more. Not waiting for the sky sword to fall, the enormous body of the purple-robed elder was suddenly sucked into the vortex by an extremely strong force. The purple-robed elder also started to laugh crazily in excitement. You won't be able to kill me. If I don't die, you won't be able to clear the first 10-story devil tower. Ha 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 ha. Buzz. The loud sound disappeared. Long Fei's sword pierced the air. The 10-story devil tower regained its calm. The system still did not sound the notification that the quest had been completed. He ran away again. He was sucked into the demon pagoda again. After a few minutes, he would revive with full HP. The heck? What the heck? Long Fei's expression tensed, the anger in his heart raged to the extreme, and his teeth chomped so hard that it sounded like it was about to break. At the same time, his body trembled, and he almost fell to the ground, panting heavily. His body also felt extremely uncomfortable as he looked at the demon pagoda and roared out, "Damn you, immortal!" Chapter 25:20. Lots of water in the sea. Chapter 25:20. Lots of water in the sea, 2 big shots, 2 rescues. Long Fei used up too much energy, be it mentally or physically. All of them had greatly surpassed the tolerance of Long Fei's current level. It took too much strength to cast a high-leveled skill. He was exhaustion. It was extremely uncomfortable. The inability of the body to endure was one reason. The other reason was, if the purple-robed old man was resurrected, how was he going to fight back? Hellfire? In the middle of cooling. The sky splitter of the sky sword S, after casting it just now, it also required a cooldown. What can I use to deal with him? There were no longer any high-leveled skills to be used. Moreover, Long Fei's body could not take any more powerful attacks. Huff, huff, huff. Long Fei breathed heavily as he cursed in his heart. System, You really don't feel good about not killing me. 4 times the difficulty. A 12S level mission. It was too difficult. It was rare for it to surpass Long Fei's endurance. If he could do it again, he really wouldn't be able to hold on. At this time, the Demon Emperor said immediately, Long Fei, the Demon Pagoda. The Demon Pagoda. Don't you understand? The Demon Emperor reminded Long Fei of the Demon Pagoda from the very beginning. Long Fei had never cared about it. What could the word Demon Tower mean? Long Fei asked, What do you mean? Can't you explain it all at once? The Demon Emperor said, The Demon Pagoda has always been controlled by the Demon Pagoda's power. The one you want to deal with isn't the Tower Guard, but this Demon Pagoda. Don't you understand? He is only a Tower Guard. The one you want to challenge isn't just him, but this Demon Tower. 10-story Devil Tower. Any level of Tower Guard was controlled by the power of the Demon Pagoda. It can make you strong. It can make you weak. To put it bluntly, this is the Demon Pagoda game. In the world of the Demon Pagoda is the GM. He can do whatever he wants to do. The purple-robed elder had lost twice in a row and was almost killed by Long Fei. Logically speaking, he had passed the test. However, the reason why he didn't pass the test of the Demon Pagoda was because he had yet to pass it. Long Fei trembled slightly, looked around, and said, You mean to tell me to go all out with the 10-story Devil Tower? The Demon Emperor was stunned. That is all. It means that as long as you can break through the Demon Pagoda, you will pass the test. And I feel that the test that the Demon Pagoda has given you is very harsh. It doesn't want to stop you, but it wants to know what kind of potential you have. He has taken a fancy to you. Uft, Long Fei said heavily, You want me? I thank it. So it's best not to fall for me, and let me peacefully pass this test. I don't want to become the chosen one. I don't want to know the secrets of the Demon Pagoda either. I just want to complete the mission, pass the test, get the rewards, return to the Xianyu sect, and participate in the rescue of my woman in the Gods sect gathering. It's that simple. I beg of you, Long Fei said. Pick them up. A severe challenge. The heck, are they aiming for him? To be able to revive his opponent time and time again, and to cripple him time and time again? If the Demon Tower was a human, Long Fei would really give it a big slap. He did not need to take a fancy to it. The Demon Emperor was dumbstruck and said, Brat, you have to endure it and pass the test for me as well. The origin of the Zhenwu continent is in your hands. Do you really think that there are people in the magic tribe who can pass the test of the 10-story Devil Tower? Just like you said, it is impossible for such a person to appear in the entire continent, so you have to pass the test for me. Long Fei sat on the ground, gasping for breath, and said, Look at me now. Do you think I can pass the test? Are you F*King interested in me? This is F*King pushing me to death. The Demon Emperor said, I believe in you. F*CK. Long Fei disdainfully said, This old man doesn't believe in himself. What right do you have to believe in me? He really did his best. All that can be done has been done. He had used up all his skills. Now, what else? Nothing. In a few more minutes, the purple-robed old man would regain his full HP, and his strength would increase. At that time, what was there to be afraid of? What else? His big move was already gone. Holy artifact? Any holy artifact will need the user's own strength, even if given to you by the super artifact. Suddenly, Long Fei thought of the word super artifact, and his heart trembled slightly. That's right, super artifact. I still have a super artifact. Immediately, Long Fei's eyes flashed with a trace of light. He immediately stood up and said to the Demon Emperor, You really want me to pass the test? The Demon Emperor looked at Long Fei with determination. What do you want me to do? I am tied up by the power of the demon pagoda, so I cannot leave. Long Fei said, I know that you won't be able to leave, and I don't want you to, but I want to know if your true essence can come out. The demon emperor gave it a try and said, you can release your true essence outwards. This is fine, but what do you want? Long Fei asked, how much true essence do you have? The demon emperor said, a lot. Long Fei asked, how much is a lot? The demon emperor said, a lot is a lot. F***CK. I forgot that you're a normal warrior. You can't even use numbers to measure your true chi value. Long Fei muttered and said, you should roughly describe how much true essence you have. The demon emperor asked, have you seen the sea before? Long Fei said, I have. The demon emperor said, do you know how much water there is in the sea? Long Fei replied, there's so much water in the ocean. The demon emperor said, that is, my true essence is just like the water in the sea. It's so much, so much. Now can you tell me what you want to do? The sea was incomparably vast. The value of true chi was as much as the amount of water in the ocean. Then this number, if one were to measure it, it should be worth over 1 billion or even 10 billion, right? Long Fei grinned. He started to become excited and said, have you ever seen someone die instantly? The demon emperor said, don't beat around the bush with me. Tell me clearly. Long Fei said, you will see it soon. Starting now, pour all of your true essence into me. Hurry up. I'll take care of that old guy. Same here. I will also defeat the 10-story devil tower. MP my ass. This time, your father is definitely going to win. Long Fei said angrily. The demon emperor didn't understand. He did not know what Long Fei was planning, but seeing how confident Long Fei was, he did not hesitate and said, brat, ready? Long Fei said, come. Buzz. The demon emperor sat cross-legged, released his true essence, and began to crazily pour it into Long Fei's body. It was also at this time. Ding. System notification. True chi value plus 10,000 points. Ding. System notification. True chi value plus 10,000 points. Ding. System notification. True chi value plus 10,000 points. The value of the true chi was increasing rapidly, breaking the limit of Long Fei's true chi value. Rumble. A loud sound echoed out. The devil fire once again rushed out of the tower. It became thicker and stronger. The purple-robed old man laughed sinisterly. Ha ha! Brat, I'm here again. Its enormous body turned malevolent. It landed heavily on the ground. At this moment, he became even more powerful as the demonic flames shrouded his entire body. His eyes stared angrily like a diamond, and they were filled with contempt. Kid, I'm not going to die. This time, you're dead for sure. At this moment, Long Fei smiled faintly and moved his right hand. Boom. A huge bow and arrow appeared in his hands. Super artifact. Sun-killing arrow. Chapter 25-21. Even God must die. Chapter 25-21. Even God must die super artifact. Sun-killing arrow. It was a special equipment given by the system. However, the first prerequisite for him to use it was to use 100 million true chi points. More than half of Long Fei's true chi value had been consumed. So even if he was at full strength, he would not have 100 million true chi value points. He had to borrow the Demon Emperor's true essence, 100 million true chi points. Holding it in his hand, the sun-killing arrow shone with a crystal-clear divine light. No arrows! The purple-robed elder slowly took shape. Looking at Long Fei holding onto a bough with no arrows, he laughed out loud. Ha ha! I'm so scared. Such a big bough. Do you want to shoot someone to death? That's not right. Do you want to scare people to death? There aren't even any arrows. Ha ha ha. Boom. As his laughter faded, the purple-robed elder's figure landed. The devil fire on his body rushed out without restraint, once again enveloping the first 10-story Devil Tower's secret world. A ghastly and terrifying aura emanated from it. It continued to rush towards Long Fei's mind, his sea of consciousness violently crushing it. Buzz. Buzz. Rumble. Long Fei's sea of consciousness unceasingly stirred, and his eyes revealed a painful expression. However, the corners of his mouth still carried a cold smile. Quick, quick, quick. Hurry up. Faster. Long Fei urged. Ding. System notification. True Qi value plus 10,000 points. Ding. System notification. True Qi value plus 10,000 points. The value of the true Qi that broke through the limits of Long Fei's true Qi slot was still increasing, just a little bit away from 100 million. Long Fei frowned. Quickly, quickly, quickly. He couldn't wait. I can't wait. The purple-robed elder sneered. Kid, why aren't you saying anything? Don't you like acting cool? Now you're a mute? A mere human brat. I've said it before. You definitely won't be able to pass the 10th floor. Because I am an immortal existence here. In this place, I will be the overlord of a group of deities. Ha ha ha. The violet-robed elder was growing increasingly savage and excited. In truth, he didn't know why this was happening. Twice he almost died. Twice he was sucked into the tower by the powerful devil fire. And when he was in the tower, he could not feel anything. He could only feel that his body was recovering, that his injuries were instantly healed, that both the burns and the sword wound were healing crazily, and that his strength was growing stronger in this process. It was a bit unsolvable, although he did not know why the pagoda would do that, but he knew that the demon pagoda used him to block Long Fei and did not allow Long Fei to pass the 10th floor. How could a human being become the chosen one holy artifact? Absolutely impossible. Absolutely not. The purple-robed elder would definitely not allow Long Fei to pass. With the help of the pagoda, he was even more confident that Long Fei would not be able to pass, no matter what. He is not dead now. No matter how powerful Long Fei was, no matter how powerful he was, it was useless. I just can't kill him. He was not in a hurry at all. If he did not die, then he would be invincible. He didn't need to worry about Long Fei having any more powerful strength. And with 2 more great moves being released, Long Fei's body wouldn't be able to withstand it at all. He could clearly feel the exhaustion in Long Fei's body and said, Brat, what other big moves do you have? Show them all. Take out a broken bow. Who do you want to shoot to death? Arrows. Do you shoot without an arrow? Ha ha ha. At this moment, ding. System notification. True Qi value plus 10,000 points. Ding. System notification. The true Qi value has reached 100 million. Once the system beep landed, Long Fei's eyes became sinister. Hee hee. It's always beeping. I'm so unhappy. No, arrows, right? Long Fei laughed sinisterly and said, I'll let you see what arrows are. His left hand moved. The idea sank. Boom. Imperceptibly, with 2 fingers pulling on the bow, the idea exploded. Sun-killing arrow. Explode for me. Shwa. Following Long Fei's instructions, the true Qi value in his body was instantly emptied out, and the 100 million points of true Qi value instantly became 0. Furthermore, at this instant, it was as if Long Fei was pulling on something as heavy as 10,000 tons, extremely heavy, as if he couldn't pull it all. It was too heavy. A little bit, a little bit, a little bit. Both sides of the bow and arrow slowly bent. The use of super artifact was too difficult. Almost all of Long Fei's strength was unable to pull this gong xian. It was a bit unbearable. It was as if the super artifact could not function. Ah! Long Fei roared with all his might. The veins on his forehead bulged, and his entire left arm shook. Boom! The heavenly fire burned. The power of Nether from the Ming clan's imprint surged out like a violent tide. Boom! The entire sun-killing arrow began to burn. Power of Nether superimposed onto it. Creak, creak, creak. With the support of the heavenly fire and the netherworld, a Dumberflower, Long Fei was able to control his arm a little bit and slowly pull back. At the same time, streams of Shuana Bai's light appeared on the bow one after another, turning into a Shuana Bai's light arrow. Arrows? The violet-robed elder's eyes sank. Long Fei grinned and laughed. You're right, this is an arrow. It's an arrow refined from 100 million true chi points. 100 million true chi-s. It was not used to activate the sun-killing arrow, but to condense arrows. True essence arrow only used 10 million true chi to release the hellfire. Even if one used the sky-splitting sword technique from the Sky Code, there were only tens of thousands of true chi-s. However, this arrow cost 100 million true chi points. The Demon Emperor's pupils shook. He thought to himself, is this the reason why you want true essence? Good boy. I was right about you. You were still holding back. Ha ha ha. The Demon Emperor couldn't help but become excited. But at the same time, he started to worry because he didn't know what the Demon Pagoda was trying to say. He didn't know if it was trying to give Long Fei more tests to stimulate his potential, or did the Demon Pagoda not want Long Fei to pass the 10-story Devil Towers test at all? If it was the latter, then no matter how powerful Long Fei's power was, it would be useless. The Demon Pagoda was the sacred artifact of the magic tribe, and in the Demon Pagoda, whoever it wanted to kill, it would not die. The Demon Emperor said with a heavy voice, Boy, pay attention to the Demon Pagoda. Yi Zichen reminded her. The purple-robed elder's eyes were filled with contempt. Kid, no matter how strong you are, it's useless. You won't be able to kill me. I've said it before. I'm God. I'm the ruler of everything. Ha ha ha. While laughing like a madman, the purple-robed old man's body was covered in demonic flames that condensed into a blood-red hue as it smashed down from above, layer by layer. Just like how it was for the 9 heavens, it blasted toward Long Fei's mind layer after layer. Long Fei blocked it with all his might. Moreover, at this moment, boom, a hum came from the sun-killing arrow. A full moon. Long Fei's eyes turned sinister. He stared at the purple-robed elder and said, There is no one who can survive in front of me. Even if he's a god, he still has to die. Chapter 25:22. Hit target. Chapter 25:22. Hit target. Even if he's a god. I'll kill him too. Shwa. With a wave of his 2 fingers, 100 million true essence arrows condensed from the true chi shot out, and like a flash of Shuana Bai's lightning, shot out with the power to crush everything. Speed. Strength. It was an indescribable scene. There was no way to describe it. The purple-robed elder was not afraid. Seeing the arrow rushing towards him, he laughed out loud. It's useless. It's useless. You won't be able to kill me. As the Demon Emperor saw this true essence arrow shoot towards the purple-robed old man, his eyes widened and his heart skipped a beat. This is bad. Even if the purple-robed old man only had a single drop of blood, he would be saved by the Demon Tower. If he wanted to defeat the purple-robed old man, the most important thing was to defeat the Demon Pagoda. Otherwise, Long Fei would never be able to get past that. Kid, why don't you understand? The Demon Emperor clenched his fists and gloomily thought to himself, I'm finished. This is probably his last resort. I estimate that It's over. If the purple-robed elder did not die from this arrow, Long Fei would definitely lose. His primeval essence was depleted. Even if the internal core of a zombie was constantly recovering, it was too slow. Not at all. Furthermore, Long Fei's body was in a terrible condition. His body could no longer endure the activation of any cultivation techniques. After the arrow was shot out, Long Fei panted heavily. Both of his eyes looked at the rule of the arrow as he thought, I have to hit. I have to hit. The purple-robed elder didn't move at all, and instead let the arrow shoot towards him. He continued to laugh wildly as he spoke. Ha ha! Kid, it's useless. I am a god. The gods will not die. Ha ha ha! The pagoda will not let me die, so don't even think about passing through here. If you can't reach the chosen one, ha ha ha! He was laughing maniacally with confidence, because the purple-robed elder believed that Long Fei would not be able to kill him, and believed that the demon pagoda would once again save him. However, arrows aimed at him. In this instant, the instant the arrow touched him, an incomparably majestic force suddenly exploded, as if the weight of 100,000 mountains suddenly struck his chest. His body was sent flying backwards. However, an even more surprising scene occurred. A hole had suddenly appeared in the purple-robed old man's chest. A hole suddenly appeared. When the purple-robed old man saw a hole appear in his body, his eyes narrowed and his entire body began to tremble. Well, what is this? He was incomparably terrified. The demon emperor's eyes also shook. What sort of move is this? Long Fei grinned sinisterly and said, Ha ha, this will cost you 3,000 lives. The arrow pierced through the hole in the old man's chest. It passed straight through. The arrow pierced through his chest. The purple-robed elder didn't do any damage except for being alarmed. There was no damaged character floating above his head. The purple-robed elder rubbed his body and then began to laugh wildly. Ha ha ha, ha ha ha. Kid, I told you that I am immortal. Ha ha ha. Did you see that? Your arrows are useless to me. Ha ha ha. It was as if he was in a dream. The purple-robed elder himself was a bit stupefied because he had never imagined that there would actually be a hole in his chest. This was definitely the power of the demon pagoda. The demon pagoda must be saving him. Because of this, he became even more crazily proud of himself. I'm a god. I'm an immortal. Ha ha ha. The demon emperor was dumbfounded. At this moment, he was also stunned. He thought that the arrow would pierce through the violet-robed elder's body, but he didn't expect that it would pass through without causing him any damage. If that was the case, it's over. The demon emperor looked at Long Fei. Long Fei's face carried an excited smile. His eyes were filled with confidence. He wasn't afraid at all. Everything was as he had expected. The demon emperor's heart went cold. Why is that? As he looked again at the movements of the arrows, the demon emperor's pupils suddenly shrank to a point of wheat. Demon pagoda. The target is the demon tower. Good boy. Ha ha ha. We finally awakened. The demon emperor's blood began to boil. If this arrow could turn the tower upside down, then the demon emperor's eyes were fixed on the arrow as he thought to himself, must hit. Indeed, Long Fei's target was not the purple-robed elder, but the demon pagoda. If the demon pagoda was not destroyed, its power could revive the tower guard forever. Long Fei no longer had the strength to fight back. He had to do it. Otherwise, the one who died was him. Sun-killing arrow. If one locked their eyes on a target, they would ignore everything that blocked them. Whether it was a person or a mountain, everything in the world, other than a target, it could pierce through anything else. Just like how the purple-robed elder had blocked it just now, a hole had automatically appeared in his chest and pierced through it. It was much more powerful than the move that H used. Besides being able to chase and kill a target across the entire plane, Sun-Killing Arrow could also penetrate anything other than the target. Long Fei's gaze tensed up, and he muttered to himself, "Definitely hit. We have to hit." This was the first arrow. Long Fei did not know what would happen. Moreover, the Sun-Killing Arrow's injuries. The system did not give a detailed description, nor did it say that it would instantly kill or anything else. The purple-robed elder seemed to have sensed something as he turned around to look at the arrow that was shooting towards the darkness. Xuanabai's light was like a beam of light that exploded in the darkness. The purple-robed elder's eyes narrowed, and he looked at Long Fei as well. Seeing the confident smile on Long Fei's face, his heart turned sinister, and he asked, "Your goal is the Demon Tower?" Long Fei grinned. "Impossible." The next second, the violet-robed elder began to laugh loudly. "Ha ha ha! Ha ha ha! Kid, you really don't know your limits. What do you think the Demon Pagoda is?" The demonic tower is the sacred artifact of our magic tribe. It is a transcendent divine level treasure that originates from another plane of existence. Deal with the Demon Pagoda. Ha ha ha. You're too smart. If the pagoda was able to revive him, then how powerful was the pagoda? It was hard to imagine. A mere Mahayana realm brat attacking the Demon Pagoda, floating duckweed shaking a big tree. It's probably the funniest thing in the world. The purple-robed elder said, "If I am the god of this world, then the Demon Pagoda is the creator of this god. Everything you do is useless to him." At this moment, the arrow sank. Rumble. Target hit. Long Fei's gaze tensed up. He stared straight at the space and said solemnly, "I've said it before, no matter who it is, I will kill him, and the creation god will do the same. Bring it on. Explode for me." Long Fei gave a loud roar. The moment the true origin arrow pierced the air, Long Fei became sinister. At this moment, the arrow formed from 100 million true Chi's true essence fiercely exploded, and rays of Xuanabai light flashed out one after another, covering the entire 10-story Devil Tower. Chapter 25-23. All 10-story Devil Tower cracks. Chapter 25-23. All 10-story Devil Tower cracks hit. 100 million true essence points exploded. Xuanabai's light enveloped the entire pagoda. Crackle! 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 Just like a 10-story Devil Tower being struck by a giant bolt of lightning, the scene, impossible. Even 10,000 kitchen knives chopping down on a high-tension wire would not produce such an effect. The entire audience was in an uproar. Furthermore, all of them stood up and stretched their necks to stare at the 10-story Devil Tower. The 5 Master S quickly retreated, because the power of Xuanabai's light that was enveloping the 10-story Devil Tower was just too ferocious. What's going on? What happened? Mutated demon towers? Just now, there was an intense clap of thunder on the first 10-story Devil Tower. What actually happened? Could it be? Did that kid lose? In the end, it still can't be compared to the pagoda. The Demon Pagoda is a sacred artifact of the magic tribe. Legend has it that it came from another plane of existence. How could humans pass through these super artifacts? Rumble! 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 The sound of thunder came from all directions. With the 10-story Devil Tower as the center, it crazily exploded in all directions. The color of the sky changed, and the true essence became chaotic. Magic Mountain also started to shake violently. Suddenly, the blood-colored light that was originally covering Magic Tribe's domain suddenly disappeared. A few seconds, the blood-red light disappeared. Xuanabai's ray of light exploded, and like a ray of light, shot out, crushing the originally blood-red light and disappearing. Half a quarter of an hour later, everything was back to normal. The sky was the sky, the earth was the earth, and the Magic Mountain was also a magic mountain. The 10-story Devil Tower was still standing in the center of the plaza, motionless. In these few long minutes, the disciples of Magic Tribe around the plaza seemed to have gone through 100 years. Everyone was incomparably shocked in their hearts. At that moment, it was as if their hearts had stopped beating. Their eyes were wide open and mouths were wide open as they looked at the peak of the 10-story Devil Tower. He was dumbstruck, unable to make a single sound. At that moment, on top of the 10-story Devil Tower, a scene appeared. In another world, the same Magic Mountain, the same 10-story Devil Tower. It was just like the reflections of this world, but they could all see it clearly. It was not the reflections, but another world. It was real. Another plane appeared on the 10-story Devil Tower. It was incomparably shocking. Demon world. It really exists, really exists. One of the elders' eyes flashed with extreme excitement. His voice was shaking as he slowly walked to the front of the grandstand. He stared at the world reflected in the sky and said, "That's the demon realm." Walala! The crowd immediately burst into an uproar. The 5 Master S rose into the air and flew directly to the sky. Looking at the inverted plane, their expressions became excited as well. "We have found our world of origin. Ha ha ha." Puppet Demon Captain laughed out loud. Beast Master Old Demon also laughed out loud. The life hope of Magic Tribe. The Magic Tribe on Zhenwu Continent had worked hard for generations to find their target, their original world, and the demon realm within them. Now, right in front of their eyes, it was like a miracle. This was the common wish of everyone in Magic Tribe. Now, the Devil Realm was right in front of them. Excited, an indescribable excitement. The purple-robed elder said, "The legends are true. The Magic Mountain is really a bridge linking us to another plane. The 10-story Devil Tower is the key to success, as long as you pass the test of the 10-story Devil Tower." Wait, as he said that, the purple-clothed elderly man's eyes turned cold. He immediately looked towards the 10th floor and said, Master, he passed the test." This scene would only appear after one had passed the 10-story Devil Tower's test. No one had passed the test before. There was only one possibility. Long Fei had passed the trial. Immediately, everyone turned to look at the 10th floor. Transformers shouted loudly, "Boss!" Kai Lina continuously flew around the 10th floor as he loudly shouted, "Long Fei!" Is that true? Did the human kid really break through the 10-story Devil Tower? Oh my God! Is it true? Does he want to become the chosen one of the Demon Pagoda? This is unbelievable. Among the 10-story Devil Tower, the sun-killing arrow shot out, an arrow hitting the target. In that instant, Long Fei's heart also tensed up because he did not know if the sun-killing arrow's injuries could completely topple the Demon Pagoda. He wasn't sure. However, when he saw the dark Demon Pagoda and the beams of Xuanabai's light explode like lightning, his eyes tightened into hope. The Demon Emperor was also excited. The purple-robed elder roared loudly, "No, no, no!" Rumble! The 10-story Devil Tower began to make collapsing noises. Boom! The first level, the puppet world, had collapsed. Boom! The second level of the demon refining tower has collapsed. Boom, boom, boom. The seamless world collapsed. The life and death world collapsed. The world of wind, rain, thunder, and lightning collapsed. Layer after layer, the demon towers collapsed as they stood in front of Long Fei. Seeing these towers collapsing, Long Fei's heart started to become excited. Finally, on the 10th floor, the world of the demon pagoda collapsed. The ground cracked. Then, Long Fei's body suddenly fell down, falling into a bottomless abyss. Along with Long Fei, the demon emperor fell down, and the moment the first level of the demon pagoda collapsed, the red light from the boundary on the demon emperor's body disappeared. Strangely enough, the purple-robed elder did not fall down. Instead, he was sucked away by a surge of energy and let out a series of wails. No. A few seconds later, buzz, Long Fei was held up by a wave of energy, and then he steadily landed on the ground. The same was true for the demon emperor. Long Fei's brows tightened and asked, "What place is this? I should have gone through the tower just now. I should have passed the test and completed the mission. What about the rewards? Where is the reward?" Now, Long Fei was only worried about the rewards. He didn't need anything else, but he had to get a level reward. Otherwise, everything he had done would have been in vain. He kept checking the system, but there was no response from the system, nor was there a notification sound. The demon emperor shook his head. "I don't know either, but one thing is for sure, we are still in the demon pagoda. There is one thing we can be sure of. You have passed the 10-story Devil Tower test." "Brat, you really are arrogant. I never thought that you would actually be able to pass. You are currently the #1 person in Magic Tribe. Ha! The disciple I have my eyes on is indeed extraordinary. You can't escape now, so you should just become my last disciple." Ha ha ha. The demon emperor was excited. At this moment, an illusory image appeared. Demon God. Chapter 25-24. The Demon God's Blast. Chapter 25-24. The Demon God's Blast. Without waiting for Long Fei's reply, a shadow slowly walked out of the darkness. One step. He walked very slowly. However, Long Fei's pupils tightened. He felt as though his heart was being crushed until it felt like it was about to explode. This was the first time in his life that he had ever experienced such an intense impact. It was abnormally intense. Moreover, this wasn't pressure at all. This was the aura of a person, the aura of a superior. The intangible aura that was emitted was enough to crush one's mind. The demon emperor's expression also turned cold. His expression changed, and his eyes constantly flickered. Finally, plop, he directly kneeled on the ground and said in a heavy voice, "Disciple Wu Hai greets Lord Demon God." His heart couldn't take it either. However, the demon emperor was even more excited, and also, in the instant he knelt, he was nothing more than a disciple meeting the ancestor. The demon emperor was incomparably pious, just like a believer. How honorable was his status? Magic Tribe Emperor. In the Magic Tribe, one of his hands covered the sky, and he was the most powerful powerhouse, the great emperor of the true martial realm. However, when faced with an illusion that slowly walked out, he was so excited that he looked like a brainless fan meeting his idol. Long Fei did not kneel. He would not kneel to anyone but his parents. It was the same for the heaven and earth. So what if you're a demon god? However, Long Fei was secretly shocked. Demon god? Could it be that there's a demon god that resides in the demon pagoda, and all of its power comes from the demon god's body? The demon emperor whispered, "Boy, quickly kneel down." Long Fei remained unmoved and said, I never kneel to others. Buzz. The figure stopped, and his appearance could not be seen clearly in the darkness. However, Long Fei could feel one thing, because his words, "I never kneel," had infuriated him. His aura trembled slightly. Boom! The power of thunder came crashing down. Rumble! Sea of consciousness crazily exploded. His body was trembling, and waves after waves of powerful energy was crushing down from above him like 100,000 mountain was pressing down on his head. His body was bent, and his knees could not hold on. Cluck, cluck, cluck. Cluck, cluck, cluck. Long Fei gritted his teeth, and his eyes became sinister. I will not kneel on the ground, nor bow to the heavens, let alone if you are a god. I will not kneel even if you are Haotian. No habit of kneeling. Who cares who you are? Moreover, at this moment, fragments of memories flashed in Long Fei's mind again. The descendants of the Long family will not kneel to anyone. How is the sky? So what? In the screen, it was abnormally sturdy. While they were talking, rumble, rumble. The pressure on top of Long Fei's head continued to increase. The 100,000 mountains had become millions of mountains, and all the bones in Long Fei's body felt as if they were about to crack. He couldn't hold on. He really couldn't take it anymore. He was sweating profusely. Sweat trickled down from the tips of his hair. His body couldn't stop trembling in the face of such a tremendous force. Even if he was crushed to the point of lying flat on the ground, even if he died, Long Fei will not kneel down to anyone. The shadow was slightly moved. The demon emperor pleaded, Your Excellency, he's just a child. He's young and full of vigor. Please don't be angry. I'll kowtow on his behalf. As he spoke, just kowtowing a few times. However, the mysterious man didn't even look at him. The strength of Long Fei's body was still increasing, and he was already suffocating from the pressure. His body was bent, and sweat was dripping down like rain. You want me to kneel? Kneeling for 18 generations. Long Fei growled. The shadow moved. Boom. A power that could be seen with the naked eye smashed down heavily, directly hitting the top of Long Fei's head. On this plane, even though he was just an illusion, he was a god, a deity who ruled over life and death together, who wouldn't kneel before whom. He never thought that Long Fei would be so unyielding, but the more Long Fei was like this, the more he wanted Long Fei to kneel. A burst of power struck the top of Long Fei's head. Long Fei's eyes bulged. At this moment, buzz, buzz. Long Fei's left and right arms released an intense rumbling sound, and at this moment, the Ming clan imprint on his left arm appeared, and a super force of Ming clan was released. Rumble! In an instant, the energy released by the illusion was crushed, shattering the energy that was above Long Fei's head. He didn't have the slightest bit of strength. In that instant, the mark on his right arm was faintly discernible. It was not completely revealed. However, a dragon churned within the imprint, furious beyond belief. At the same time, amongst the right arm dragon-shaped mark, a surge of power shot up into the sky, instantly crushing onto the illusionary figure. The figure's body sank, and it was unable to react in time. Plop! With a heavy sound, he kneeled in front of Long Fei. The demon emperor, was completely dumbfounded. The entire figure of the shadow appeared. A middle-aged man with a golden complexion and boundless energy exuded from his body. He was abnormally fierce and sharp, but his body was being crushed by a surge of power. He couldn't even move. If it wasn't for the mysterious man, he would have been crushed into a pile of feces by now. He heavily knelt in front of Long Fei. He couldn't even say a word. Long Fei's entire body relaxed. His heart was also filled with doubts, but Just now, he had been crushed quite heavily. The anger in his heart was boiling as he said, "Unhappily, does it feel good to make people kneel?" The mysterious man couldn't speak. Long Fei bellowed, "God damn, isn't it great to make people kneel?" The mysterious man still couldn't say anything, because the power that crushed him was so great that he couldn't move at all. He couldn't even speak. Long Fei roared out, "Crushing your father? Is the demon god that amazing?" Long Fei didn't care about all that. If you make him unhappy, he will make your entire family unhappy. And then Long Fei bellowed, "Count out of me." Bang, bang, bang. The mysterious man was completely out of control and crazily kowtowed to Long Fei, unable to stop at all. The nearby demon emperor was completely dumbfounded. Was this a demonic god? Is this the ancestor of the magic tribe? The heck? Isn't this too disgraceful? There was no need to force it at all. The demon emperor wondered if this fellow was actually a demon god. The demon emperor also looked at Long Fei. He was getting more and more confused. He had just been crushed by the demon god, and the pain was unbearable, but now the demon god had suddenly kneeled down to him. Although he did not know what Long Fei had done, however, he was certain that the devil god's kneeling had definitely been crushed by an extremely strong force from Long Fei's body that was so strong that even he couldn't feel it. Of course, this power, Long Fei himself didn't know what was going on. Seeing the demon god's shadow kneel down, Long Fei's face was filled with a carefree expression, and she said, "So it's actually really great. However," seeing the demon god's shadow kowtow to such a state, Long Fei had a bold idea. What would happen if I killed him? You want to become a demon god? Do you want to become a demon god? In any case, it had already been crushed. If one doesn't do it, the other won't. Who cares if he's going to burn the house? Let's kill him first. Ideas are as bold as madmen. And then Long Fei moved and thought, "I don't know what kind of power it is, nor do I know which deity helped me. Since he helped me, then I'll help him to the end and directly kill him. Explode it." No response. The system did not respond. There was no reaction from his aura of power. Similarly, the shadow that was kneeling on the ground did not have any reaction. He did not die, nor did he explode. Long Fei did not give up and said, "That one you're going to explode. You're going to explode him. You can easily crush him. Exploding him should be a matter of words, right? A single sentence. Table of contents. To crush someone so badly that he couldn't even speak, killing him would be too easy." However, still no response. The same was true for the demon god simulacrum. He didn't move at all. Long Fei was a little displeased in his heart and said, "Damn you to think that my bold idea could not be realized. I'm really not giving you any face at all. Tell me the truth." Long Fei really wanted to blow it up. It didn't matter if he was a demon god or not. It didn't matter who he was. Moreover, he had a feeling that if it were to explode, it would definitely release a lot of powerful items. However, if he did not use his inner strength, then not only would he not explode, he might not even be able to injure himself in the slightest. Sigh. Long Fei secretly sighed in his heart, and then said, "Since you don't want to blow him up, then relax a bit. I have something to ask him." Buzz. The moment he loosened his strength, the mysterious man immediately stood up. Long Fei became angry and said, "Did this daddy let you get up?" The mysterious man was stunned. He did not need to crush the mysterious man to kneel down on his own. Just now, he had been crushed to the point that he couldn't move at all. But now, he was trembling nonstop. Trembling. The demon emperor was already stupefied. He said in his heart, "This guy is definitely not the demon god. Definitely not the demon god. I swear, he definitely is not my magic tribe's ancestor." He had been utterly humiliated. Long Fei said, "I'm asking you, why did you bring me down here?" The mysterious man was very obedient, like an obedient dog. He said, "You passed the 10-story Devil Tower test and unlocked the seal in the tower. Thus I can appear. I let you down because you want to become the chosen one of the tower and complete the mission that the tower did not complete. I know now that I was wrong. My lord, I was wrong. I shouldn't have crushed you, and I shouldn't have made you kneel either. I shouldn't have allowed you to become the chosen one." The shadow said with a trembling voice. No one knew how scared he was. No one knew that he had even wet his pants in fear of the real face of the demon realm. His face was pale, and he didn't even dare to breathe loudly. No one knew, because he knew who he was facing. Too terrifying. If he could, he would rather die than to face the power that Long Fei had just received, the most ancient power of the ancient inheritance. The first inheritance power in the ancient world, the kind of power that made him feel scared whenever he thought about it. Hearing his trembling voice and hearing his words, Long Fei's heart sank. F***CK, is this thing that's scared to death? However, what happened to the power that crushed him just now? Who's helping me? Is this the power from my body? But why can't I feel it at all? Is it related to my seal's memories? F***CK, could it be that I have some sort of special identity? Rob. Long Fei's heart trembled. He grinned. What benefits does the demon pagodas, the chosen one, have? The mysterious man continued. Master, I don't dare to let you become the chosen one of the demon pagoda anymore. This is simply an insult to your identity. Identity? What's my identity? Long Fei asked. The virtual image said, You don't know about it yourself? Long Fei immediately asked, How could I not know? Yes. The mysterious man no longer dared to speak. Long Fei asked, Let me ask you, what benefits does the demon pagodas, the chosen one, have? The shadow said, You can get the protection of the 10-story Devil Tower. In addition, after you become the chosen one of the demon pagoda, you will have a power to summon the powerhouse of the demon world. Furthermore, the chosen one of the demon pagoda must complete the mission to link to the demon realm through time and space, he said. Long Fei was secretly happy. So many benefits to be able to protect me. Am I like the purple-robed old man, reviving after death? Wow, this is awesome. What? He can even summon the powerhouse of the demon realm? Ha ha ha. Long Fei was ecstatic, but he maintained his composure on the surface, pretended to be cold, and said, All right, I want to be the chosen one. Huh. The shadow shook, and his scalp went numb. Become the chosen one of his pagoda with Long Fei's identity? The heck? He was shaking more and more violently. He wanted nothing more than to disappear right now, even if he was killed. You want Long Fei to become the chosen one? This is audacious. The mysterious man kowtowed again and again, saying, My lord, I was wrong just now. I won't dare to do it again. I beg you, please let me go. I promise I won't do it again. He immediately kowtowed and begged for mercy. How scared was he? The corner of Long Fei's mouth drew back, and he was even more shocked in his heart. I'll do whatever I tell you to do. With so much rubbish coming this way, if you continue blabbering with me, do you believe that I'll annihilate your entire devil realm? This pretentious. Long Fei himself felt that it was a little too big. Destroy the infernal realm? Was he joking? Even if the current Long Fei had 1 million people, it still wouldn't be enough to kill him. The demon emperor was also stunned at the side, looking at Long Fei with a strange gaze. He was completely dumbstruck. He didn't believe that Long Fei could annihilate the demon realm no matter what. Moreover, Long Fei's current cultivation was not even his opponent, yet he could still destroy the demon world. However, the mysterious man continued to tremble. He was scared to death as he said, "I will obey, I will obey. Lord, whatever you say, it's my fault. Please don't destroy the demon world." His expression, he truly believed that Long Fei could exterminate the demon world. Moreover, he firmly believed in it because he knew how powerful the first inheritance of the ancient world was, and he also knew how crazy the person who obtained the first inheritance was. He couldn't afford to offend him. He couldn't afford to offend her, although the devil realm is very strong and can be considered the overlord of a region in the universal realm, an existence with a bit of power, but to the number one madman in ancient world, his demon realm was not even fart. Long Fei smiled faintly and said, "That's more like it. All right. What is the procedure?" Long Fei asked. The mysterious man immediately replied, "No need, no need. I don't need anything. All I need to do is to brand a magic tower mark on your body, and you will be the tower's the chosen one. But, Master, do you really want to become the chosen one of the demon pagoda? If it's possible." Not waiting for the mysterious man to finish speaking, Long Fei said somewhat impatiently, "Stop talking, hurry up." The mysterious man replied immediately, "Yes. Actually," he wanted to ask, "Do you want this position?" Chapter 25-26, Berserk, System Rampage. Chapter 25-26, Berserk, System Rampage, the mark of the demon pagoda, appeared. This was our idea, and it was as if a strand of spiritual energy had been imprinted into his mind. At this moment, Long Fei's mind trembled slightly, and then the system sounded out, "Ding! Congratulations to the player, Long Fei, for obtaining the Demon Pagoda inheritance and becoming a Demon Pagoda, the chosen one. Ding! Congratulations to player, Long Fei, for obtaining 10-story Devil Tower." A miniature model of the 10-story Devil Tower appeared in the system space. It was exactly the same as the 10-story Devil Tower, and even its aura was the same. It was very powerful. The skill of reviving in place was even more powerful. In other words, summon the Demon Tower. The Demon Tower itself was a divine being of the demon realm, and it could summon the powerhouse from the demon realm. What could he summon? Long Fei was looking forward to it. At the same time, the notifications continued. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for passing the 10th floor of the 10-story Devil Tower. Reward, level +4. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Current level, large scale, 6th pin. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Level up 4 consecutively. 4 times the difficulty. 4th level reward. Too awesome. It felt so good that Long Fei's entire body was trembling. The power in his body was increasing. His entire body was transforming. Every time the Mahayana realm increased, there would be a strong change in it. To be able to instantly drop a rank 4. This feeling. Wonderful. Long Fei clenched both his fists tightly. The power of the vigorous and gigantic 9th level Mahayana burst forth, forming a series of resonant sounds in the air. Buzz. Buzz. Awesome. I'm just one step away from Zhenwu realm. Long Fei was incomparably excited as he thought in his heart. Right? There's still the overall mission, so it should have been completed, right? The SSS level mission, 10-story Devil Tower, was also divided into 10 stages. If he completed it now, wouldn't he receive some sort of reward as well? One more level is enough. As long as one stepped into the Zhenwu realm, they would be even more awesome. Long Fei was elated. The system chimed in as well. Ding! Congratulations, player. Long Fei, for completing the 10-story Devil Tower Test SS level quest. You have received 100 million experience, 1,000,000 true chi points, and 100 arrogant god energy value points. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining a special reward. Reward: Spatial Life and Death Explosion. Huh. No level reward. He only had 100 million experience and a special reward. Long Fei's heart trembled slightly. I don't want the special reward. Give me the level reward and let me break through the Zhenwu realm. He was now a 9th level Mahayana, but he needed to break through the Zhenwu realm. 5 billion experience. Right now, he only had 300 million experience points. To break through 5 billion, it was too difficult. Looking at the system's special reward, Long Fei sighed in his heart. He still wanted to check what the so-called life and death explosion was. Skill path: Spatial Life and Death Explosion grade. Super God attribute: Life or Death cooldown. 24 hours consumption. 180 million true chi-s. Description: Space Life and Death Explosion is a spatial skill. Once released, the user can release the spatial skill. Space size depends on the player's cultivation level. The spatial skill is very powerful. Description 2. Space can be used to kill, but it can also be used to save. Looking at the detailed description, Long Fei's eyes did not move at all. Damn, is the consumption even greater than the sun-killing arrow? 180 million true chi-s. Awesome, my brother. In the game, it didn't matter if the Zhenwu continent was exhausted. The stronger the power would be. This was the law of iron. 180 million true chi-s worth of consumption caused Long Fei to be speechless. Too fierce. Then, looking at his in-skill skills, Long Fei felt that, just like how this Luo surgical technique released a space, in this space he was like a god. Or born. Either die. Of course. Did not know how strong the attack was, but he was sure that the skill was extremely powerful. Who? Long Fei let out a heavy breath and said to himself excitedly, with this technique, I have another reason to rely on. It's just that the value of the true chi is a problem. The value of the 9th level Mahayana was over 90 million. Only by stepping into the Zhenwu realm could he reach 100 million points in value. A true chi value of 180 million points. That was a bit difficult. However, Long Fei was not worried because he would be like the Demon Emperor, with his true chi being like the ocean, hundreds of millions, billions, tens of billions. At that time, what skills could he not have? Zhenwu realm? Not a target. His goal was the strongest. No matter in which plane, whether it was in Zhenwu continent, whether it was in Universal Realm, or even if he was hiding somewhere in Ancient World, he had to be the strongest person. Ding! Just as Long Fei was thinking about this, the system sounded out once again. Congratulations to player Long Fei for triggering Tower of Protection. Open the Demon World entrance quest. Quest level. Task reward, 10th level. Quest time. Do you accept? The void illusionary demon god had just said that he would obtain the demon pagoda after passing the test, and at the same time, he would open up the demon world's entrance for the Zhenwu continent. Trigger the task now, not to mention anything else. Upon seeing task reward, Long Fei's eyes lit up. Wow, reward level 10? The heck? Accept. I have to accept it. The idea moved and clicked accept. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for accepting, opening the Devil Realm entrance quest. Ding. System notification. Quest failed. Player level reduced to 0. Long Fei. System your head. Do you have to be so ruthless? Reward level 10. The penalty is directly lowered to level 0. Aren't you being too vicious? Are you giving me a way out? Long Fei said fiercely in his heart. He had thought of punishment, but he hadn't expected it to be so severe. The system did not respond. It also wouldn't answer Long Fei's question. At this time, when the Demon Emperor saw the excitement on Long Fei's face and the bitter expression on his face, he asked softly, "Brat, are you all right?" In these few minutes, the Demon Emperor felt the change in Long Fei's aura. It was obvious that his cultivation was soaring, because he was taught by the demon god. When he sensed the aura of the 9th level Mahayana on Long Fei's body, he was secretly shocked in his heart. Breakthrough, continuously breaking through. Long Fei recovered his expression and said, "Nothing, nothing." And then Long Fei looked at the phantom demon god and asked, "Is there anything else?" The void illusionary demon shook his head. He wanted nothing more than for Long Fei to leave immediately. Long Fei grinned. "If there's nothing else, then I'll be leaving first." The void illusionary demon bowed and said, "Please take care." After Long Fei left, the Demon Emperor also wanted to turn around and leave, but the void illusionary demon's voice changed. "Stay here." Chapter 25-27, Demon God Instruction. Chapter 25-27, Demon God Instruction. Honestly, the Demon Emperor was very depressed. Even though he could feel the unparalleled aura of devil fire from the mysterious man's body, it was the same as the special aura of power from the magic mountain. He was a demonic god. At that moment, he knelt down, because he was certain that he was a demon god. But now, in the Demon Emperor's heart, the position of the demon god in his heart dropped from a height of 100,000 meters into the abyss, becoming a negative number. He did not care about Long Fei's identity. A grand demon god silhouette actually kneeled to a person. Furthermore, he was kneeling so naturally, trembling and shivering, scared to death. He just couldn't understand. How could there still be someone on Jun Wu continent that could cause the demons to fear him? When the void illusionary demon god called out to him, the Demon Emperor was very unwilling because he felt that the demon god in front of him must be fake. However, the Demon Emperor still stopped and asked, "What's the matter?" His words were somewhat cold. However, in an instant, the void illusionary demon god burst out. "It's fine if he disdains me, but you actually dare to talk to me in such a tone?" Rumble. As if he had been humiliated, the aura on the illusion abruptly exploded, and it burst forth as if heaven and earth were being flipped upside down, crashing down heavily onto the illusion. In that moment, the Demon Emperor's face paled. However, the moment that power came crushing down, the void illusionary demon waved his hand and said, "Forget it." He retracted his aura. The power completely vanished. It wasn't that he was merciful, but he wanted to beat the Demon Emperor up, so he was Long Fei's friend. If by chance he touched the Demon Emperor, and Long Fei comes back to settle the score, it wasn't because he didn't want to protect the Demon Emperor's back, but was because he didn't understand why the demon god had been able to withstand the crushing pressure just now. What exactly? Then he definitely wouldn't have been able to withstand it. The void illusory demon god slightly said, asking, "It's fine if you don't understand. Do you have any instructions? You will understand it in the future." Void illusory his identity god is replied, something you would never have a 10-story devil tower if he could become and became the chosen one of the demon pagoda. He might enter the mission realm in the demon pagoda. At that time, will then be over. At this point, the void illusionary demon. Before that, I want you to do something. Excited. The excitement of being injected with chicken blood and replied, his entire body was suffused with red light. And he said, "The demon world has always been in an awkward position in the primordial universe. I want you to ensure his safety no matter what, not above average, no matter what happens, after being crushed even if it by the god's tribe. being crushed by the other races and sects of the universal realm, suddenly, and being always at the edge of the universal realm, shocked. But he did not immediately if agree. He can enter the demon Instead, world. He carefully asked, our demon world might be able to turn the tables around, even if he might even become the first chosen one of the demon primordial era. He shouldn't have done this. It was hard to conceal. His eyes seemed to see the scene of the future. The demon world stood at the peak of universal realm, and even God's tribe was trampled beneath his feet. The scene was too exciting. However, the demon emperors that he spoke of didn't understand a single word he said. However, it could be seen that Long Fei was really special. The demon emperor was also feeling pleased with himself. My eyes are really sharp. And then the demon god said, no matter what happens, we must protect him even if it means using the power of our entire clan. Remember, you are not allowed to say half a word about what has happened here. Do you understand? He was not stupid. He knew Long Fei's identity. And he also knew that Long Fei was not able to completely control the power of the ancient inheritance. If his identity was exposed, or this ancient inheritance was exposed, the consequences would be unimaginable. The demon emperor said with a heavy tone, "Disciple understands." The demon god waved his hand. You should leave too. It's time for me to return to the demon realm. The demon emperor turned around and left, laughing in his heart. Boy, I really didn't misjudge you. 18 captains of Magic King. I don't care what sort of identity you have. Even if I have to use a strong one, I will still take you in. The void illusionary demon looked up at the dark sky and muttered, as long as the demon realm can climb up to his level, then the demon realm will definitely rise up. The number one person in ancient world, the first inheritance of the ancient world. It really appeared. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. The high and mighty gods tribe, who had controlled the universal realm for so many years, should have finally reached the end, right? Ha ha ha. Get ready to tremble. The void illusionary demon god laughed maniacally. And then the shadow moved. His figure disappeared. Also at this moment, the 10-story Devil Tower S on the plaza began to sink layer by layer. Boom, boom, boom. After 10 explosions, the 10-story Devil Tower had completely disappeared into the Magic Mountain, and the plaza returned to normal. Only the 10-story Devil Tower would never appear again, because it was already in Long Fei's space ring. At the same time, Long Fei walked out. In that moment, the Transformers flashed with a bright light and roared, "Boss!" Kai Lina's wings moved, wanting to rush over, but in the end, he endured it. His eyes became moist as he muttered, "Even I was about to be scared to death by you." Princess Sand Moon did not care about all this as he rushed towards Long Fei, pouncing into Long Fei's embrace as he wailed. His tensed nerves loosened, unable to control it any longer. The 5 Master S also descended from the sky. All of their eyes shone brightly as they looked at Long Fei. The square was instantly filled with excitement. Long Fei, Long Fei, Long Fei. Long Fei, Long Fei, Long Fei. Long Fei, Long Fei, Long Fei. Everyone was shouting Long Fei's name. It resounded throughout the universe. At this moment, Long Fei was also excited. He felt that he was a member of the Magic Tribe. Moreover, when he was at the first 10-story Devil Tower, it was these people who gave him strength. Those sounds broke through everything and spread into his ears, pulling him together. He thanked these people. Boom. At this moment, the Demon Emperor walked out. The audience immediately quieted down. The Demon Emperor walked to Long Fei's side, grabbed his hand, and said solemnly, "The number one person in the Magic Tribe passed the 10-story Devil Tower test. I don't need to be exiled, either." Ha ha ha. The Demon Emperor faintly smiled. Long Fei also laughed. The reason why he could have things this way was because the Demon Emperor was helping him. The Demon Emperor had recommended him to join the 10-story Devil Tower. Otherwise, he would still be using the arrogant form state, and even if he fought for a year, it would still be hard to level up. At this time, the Demon Emperor said heavily, "From now on, he is my 18 captains of Magic Kings, my last disciple." Chapter 25-28. Ginger is older. Chapter 25-28. Ginger is older. Huh. F***CK. Long Fei was startled. He felt gratitude, but he did not want to acknowledge the Demon Emperor as his master, nor did he want to become some 18 captains of Magic King. He spoke as if he was the son of the Demon Emperor. Long Fei immediately said, "I didn't promise you that. I also don't want to become 18 captains of Magic King." The Demon Emperor's face sank. "You can't give me any face in front of so many people. Look at all these people staring at me. Are you trying to make me lose face?" "Just a formality. I don't need you to call me master. You can call me whatever you want. As for being a final disciple, that's for real. Just give me some face in front of outsiders. If there's no one around, I'll just do whatever I want." The Demon Emperor whispered. He wanted to rope Long Fei in order for Long Fei to become someone of the Magic Tribe. Even if he couldn't, he had to become someone who had a close relationship with the Magic Tribe. Long Fei laughed bitterly, but did not think much of it, and said, "Fine." The Demon Emperor had helped him a lot. The Demon Emperor's eyes flashed with a brilliant light. "You agreed." Without waiting for Long Fei to speak, the Demon Emperor immediately announced in a loud voice, "He has already agreed. From now on, he is my last disciple. If anyone dares to touch him or make trouble for him, I will beat the sh**t out of his mouth." The weapon demon suddenly asked, "Who dares to touch him?" "If he doesn't move, we'll just say that we're burning incense." Who would dare to bully a person who could defeat the 10-story Devil Tower? Looking for discomfort, the purple-clothed old man also said heavily, "If anyone dares to go against my master, I'll make sure he won't think of obtaining a single pill in this lifetime." Ha ha ha. Master Long Fei is so strong. Who would dare to fight him? Whoever dares to go against him, I will not forgive him. Me too. After passing the 10-story Devil Tower's test, I don't care if he's a human or a Magic Tribe. In my heart, he's a powerhouse, and what we Magic Tribe believes in is powerhouse. Everyone was excited. This was the case for Magic Tribe. The Demon Emperor pressed his hands together and said, "Quiet." The entire audience immediately quieted down and looked at him. The Demon Emperor looked at Long Fei very seriously and said, "Now, I don't want you to go through the ceremony of acknowledging someone as your master, nor do I want you to offer tea and kneel before me." Long Fei was startled. The Demon Emperor immediately said in a low voice, "Go through the motions. There are so many people watching." Long Fei grinned and said, "Master." The Demon Emperor had a very serious expression on his face. He said, "Louder. I didn't hear you." Long Fei's eyes darkened and said, "Damn, don't let your plan go wrong." The Demon Emperor chuckled. "You should at least let everyone listen to you." "Who?" Long Fei raised her voice by several levels. "Master." "All right. So nice to listen to." The Demon Emperor's face was smug as he continuously laughed. Long Fei felt like he was tricked. It was as if the Demon Emperor was leading him by the nose. The older the person, the more experienced he would be. He had no choice but to accept it. At this point, Long Fei could only smile bitterly. At this moment, the audience boiled over once again. Demon Emperor, Demon Emperor, Demon Emperor, Demon Emperor. Voices rang out. The Demon Emperor said, From today onwards, we will celebrate for 3 days and 3 nights. Bring out all the fine wine and delicious food for me to celebrate. Ha ha ha. Immediately, the audience was in an uproar, exploding into a frenzy. The demon emperor placed a hand on Long Fei's shoulder and said, "Disciple, drink with master. Drink with him in 3 big vats." Transformers' face was also filled with excitement as he said, "Let's go for a party." Kai Lina watched Long Fei rush into the sky and disappear. At any time, she was always the clearest. She had to be on guard. Princess Sanmoon also revealed a smile and said, "Come on, Magic Tribe's carnival is very fun." Long Fei also did not want to spoil everyone's fun, so he replied, "All right, I won't stop until I'm drunk." In another place, the imperial capital, I received news that the Magic Tribe's 10-story Devil Tower was broken through. Zhao Wuji's eyes narrowed. "Past. Who is it? Is it someone from the 10 tribes or one of them?" "It hasn't been checked out yet," the guard reported back. Zhao Wuji's eyes turned sinister as he muttered, "He will be in God's sect gathering soon." Magic Tribe is also participating. Will he come? Passed the 10-story Devil Tower test. What kind of person is he? Zhao Wuji exhaled slightly and said, "This year's God's sect gathering is the stage of the higher. No one can steal his limelight." And then, Zhao Wuji said, "Find out who passed the test at the Demon Pagoda and whether he will come to the God's sect gathering." The security guard immediately said, "Understood." He swiftly left the hall. At the same time, the Zhou Mansion's secret chamber. Zhou Yaozong was also receiving news that someone from the Magic Tribe had passed the 10-story Devil Tower test. Different from the Zhao family, their Zhou family had arranged for people to come to Magic Tribe. However, these people were not the core tribes of the Magic Tribe. The humans passed the test of the pagoda. It's actually a human. Who is this person? Zhou Yaozong frowned. Will this person participate in the God's sect gathering? Who wasn't the main point. The most important thing was whether this person would participate in the God's sect gathering. This was the key. It was the same for the God's sect gatherings Zhou family. Zhou Yaozong knew a secret. Originally, what only the Zhao family knew was a top-secret existence in the entire Zhenwu continent. The God's tribe sent someone. Moreover, he had already arrived at the Zhenwu continent. This was an excellent opportunity for him. If the Zhou family displayed their strength and could crush the Zhao family, then perhaps they could replace the Zhao family without even a single soldier. He would become the ruler of the kingdom, the emperor, become an outer disciple of the God's tribe. Because as long as powerhouse of God's tribe could crush the Zhao family to death with a single word, that would have been the case in the past. He said that it was the Zhao family that had been annihilated. Actually, it was because the Wei family did not listen to him. With just a few words from the powerhouse of God's tribe, the empire built by the Wei family instantly collapsed. Huff! Zhou Yaozong let out a heavy breath and said, "This time, I definitely cannot miss it. It's time to let Master out." Xianyu's sect. "Boss, why aren't you back yet?" "That's right. We're about to leave. If we don't return soon, we won't be able to make it in time." Outside the Mystic Moon Palace, dozens of elite disciples were waiting to be sent out. Xiao Dai, the big-sized guy, Thin Monkey were looking at them from the sidelines, but they could not see anything. But Long Fei was nowhere to be seen. Gue Qingshan was also secretly anxious in his heart. This kid, you won't escape, right? He knew that Long Fei had entered the Forbidden Grounds before. After all, Yi Yorong's master was a true martial great emperor. The confidence he had in his heart was completely crushed by Yi Yorong, and this was extremely disadvantageous to Long Fei, as he might not be able to recover from this setback. Yi Yorong stood quietly at the side, hoping that Long Fei would not appear. At this time, an old man walked forward and said to Gui Qingshan, "It's getting late, it's time to go." The old man had a special identity. Gui Qingshan did not dare to disobey and said, "Let's go." Chapter 25-29, Returning to Xian Yu Sect. Chapter 25-29, Returning to Xian Yu Sect Carnival. Enjoyment. The entire magic tribe was in a state of ecstasy. 3 days later, there were drunk people everywhere on the road, in the square, in the trees, in the water, on the beams, and on the roofs. If someone were to call over at this moment, it would be like picking up heads. Long Fei rarely drank, but in the end, they could not hold on, and after a bout of wild drinking, they forced all 5 masteress to the ground. In the end, he had a showdown with the Demon Emperor. They both fell to the ground. Early morning, inside the Demon God's Hall, Long Fei and the Demon Emperor sat on the ground. The Demon Emperor asked, "What plans do you have for the next step? What plans do you have for the entrance to the demon world?" The entrance to the demon realm. Long Fei shook his head, thinking of this super mission, and said, "Let's push this matter down later. I have more important things to do." Since there was no time limit on this mission, Long Fei was in no hurry. The Demon Emperor said, "What can I do to help?" Long Fei said, "About the God's Sect gathering. This is my own affair, and I will take care of it." Thinking about God's Sect gathering, Long Fei could not help but ask, "What number is today? How many days are there until the God's Sect gathering?" He had been in a tense state of mind the entire time. So much so that Long Fei forgot the time. God's Sect gathering? The Demon Emperor looked at Long Fei and muttered, then said, "There are still 10 days. What's wrong? You want to attend?" "Perfect. Now that Meng Qian is dead, you can go out to represent our magic tribe. You don't need to get any good rankings. You can just grind all of them out." The Demon Emperor smiled. Originally, he had arranged for Meng Qian to attend the God's Sect gathering this year. Now that Meng Qian was dead, he could let Long Fei take his place. God's Sect gathering was a grand annual gathering of the human race. In the middle of the square, Magic Tribe only took part in this event. He moved and did not want to participate. Two-headed gorilla. This was because it was better for Magic disciples of Magic Tribe who were lying on top of him and getting drunk also slid down. Seeing how King Kong rubbed his eyes and asked, the Demon Emperor actually wanted Long Fei to participate in the competition in place of the Magic Tribe. If Long Fei participated, then whatever descended from the sky and Zhao family would all be lying on the ground. Long Fei unable to get up. We need to return to the Demon Emperor thought of that. There's no time. He couldn't help but Long Fei was worried that Xiao died. Long Fei's eyes and the others would go first. And he said, if anything were to happen to them while they were at the Divine City level, it would be disastrous. It will take at least a few days to travel from here to the Xian Yu sect and from there to the Divine ceremony were to be held Fei's gaze tensed up. Long Fei clenched his fists tightly immediately. Transformers quickly stood up and walked to the main entrance and said and shouted, "Okay, let's go." The Demon Emperor walked forward and said, "Which sect do you want to return to? I heard that you entered the wilderness from the Xian Yu mountain range. How about this? You represent the magic tribe in battle and go to the divine capital from here." He wanted Long Fei to participate. Long Fei shook his head. "There are a lot of powerhouses. It's fine as long as you just send one of them out, but I don't think the Xianyu sect can do it without me. It would probably be very difficult for them. And furthermore, I still have something very important to do, and I need to return to Xianyu sect first." He had to stop Yi Yorong. They had to clash head-on with Yi Yorong's old demonic master again. He absolutely could not let Yi Yorong marry a eunuch. The Demon Emperor looked at Long Fei's anxious expression and did not try to persuade him further. He said, "All right, then I won't stop you, but..." The Demon Emperor's idea moved. Buzz. From another side hall, the Princess Sand Moon walked over in a hurry. Princess Sand Moon looked at Long Fei and said, "Are you leaving?" Long Fei looked at Princess Sand Moon with unwillingness to part and nodded, "And I have something urgent to do." Princess Sand Moon hesitated. "Then The Demon Emperor pushed the Princess Sand Moon in front of Long Fei and said, "That's nothing. You're his wife now, so of course you have to follow him." Long Fei was stunned for a moment, looking at Princess Sand Moon. The two of them had a rather special relationship, and their marriage was forced, but Long Fei still recognized his wife in his heart and said, "Are you willing to go with me?" The Demon Emperor's eyes flashed, and he immediately replied, "Definitely. Hee hee. Kid, the black robe I gave you last time was too much, wasn't it?" Ha ha ha. The Demon Emperor was somewhat pleased with himself. He thought that Long Fei and the Princess Sand Moon had already slapped them. Moreover, how many men could resist the number one beauty of the magic tribe? It's a very good way to tie a man up with a woman. Black lines hung on Long Fei's forehead. However, he kept imagining in his mind that the Princess Sand Moon would definitely explode if he wore those sexy underwear that was filled with black threads. It was just that. What the Demon Emperor did not expect was that Princess Sand Moon suddenly took a step back and said, "My cultivation level cannot keep up with yours. If you have something urgent, hurry up and do it. I will follow Disciples of Magic Tribe to Zhaogua's divine capital, and then we will meet again." The Demon Emperor was stunned. Long Fei did not hesitate any longer and said, "All right, then let's put it this way." Then Long Fei walked out of the hall with big strides. King Kong. King Kong's body sank. Long Fei jumped onto Kong Kim's back, supported by his four limbs, and then leaped out heavily. Kai Lina looked at Princess Sand Moon, and then also stood up and instantly disappeared. After seeing them leave, the Demon Emperor asked in puzzlement, "Why didn't you go with him?" Princess Sand Moon said, "He is a man, and I am his woman. I need to think for him, not drag him down." The Demon Emperor was dumbfounded. Princess Sand Moon muttered, "I also need to make some preparations." And then he too left in large strides. The Demon Emperor laughed. "I've underestimated you. Ha ha ha. It seems like you don't need me to worry about you at all." The Demon Emperor looked at the sky. "God's sect gathering, right?" Ha ha. Interesting. Immediately, the Demon Emperor's idea moved. Half a minute later, boom, 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 17 figures landed in front of the Demon Emperor. All 17 of them were around 20 years of age, and the auras they exuded were exceptionally thick. 17th son of the Demon Emperor, the Demon Emperor said, "Your junior brother is going to participate in the God's sect gathering. I want you to protect him. after refining all these and matching it with the dimension of life and death. It should be okay, right? Long Fei muttered in his heart. He wasn't absolutely confident either. After all, the poison in the everlasting burning sword was too strong. He had never seen it before. Transformers said, "Boss, don't worry. We will definitely be able to save eldest sister-in-law." Long Fei smiled bitterly and said, "Whether or not eldest sister-in-law knows. Moreover, if you don't hurry up, your sister-in-law will marry someone else." Transformers was stunned, then immediately said angrily, "Whoever dares to snatch a woman from you, I will directly destroy all 18 generations of his ancestors." Very mighty. Long Fei said, "Don't try to be brave, go faster." Transformers immediately replied, "Understood." Boom, boom. He splashed up a pile of soil and leaped with all his might. Thousands of meters away, he crazily rushed forward, traversing the desert, the savage swamp, and the mountains. 3 days later, he finally walked out of the wilderness, standing at the peak of the Savage Gate. Long Fei looked at the Xian Yu mountain range, then looked at the sky, and said softly, "Kai Lina, I brought you into the human world." In Magic Tribe, even people with strange appearances would be regarded as normal. However, in the human world, it was different. With a pair of steel wings on her back, she would definitely attract all kinds of discussions and even call her a monster. Because it was the same in Kai Lina's previous world. Kai Lina did not speak. Instead, he dived down towards the Xian Yu mountain range. Transformers also moved. Boom. Another 3 days passed. Finally, they arrived at the foot of the Xian Yu sect. Moreover, at this moment, the bell sound came from inside the Xian Yu sect. 5 bell rings consecutively resounded throughout the entire Xian Yu sect. Enemy attack. A super big demon beast is rushing towards Xian Yu sect. Prepare to fight. Enemy attack. Enemy attack. Prepare to fight. Xian Yu sect quickly reacted. The 3 great pavilions, Marshal Hall, Law Enforcement Hall, Inner and Outer Sect, all of them drew their weapons and rushed to the mountain gate. At this time, a super big demon beast appeared. Was this demon beast always spying on our Xian Yu sect, waiting for our elites to leave before coming? What should we do? What do we do now? The Grand Master is still in closed-door cultivation. Several senior elders went to the capital. What should we do now? What's there to be afraid of? With courage like yours, what's the point of cultivating? What are you afraid of? Just do it. Remember what Elder Long Fei said. If you don't agree, then do it, don't submit. Exactly. In an instant, everyone's eyes became determined and spirited. In these few months, Xian Yu sect had completely changed, and this was because of the pills they had refined. This caused their cultivation to increase by an incomparably great amount. Whether it was a disciple or an elder, both of their strengths had increased explosively. The current Xian Yu sect was far stronger than the one 3 months ago. Moreover, the entire sect remembered Long Fei's kindness. It was Long Fei who gave them hope. At this moment, the Grand Master is here. Gui Qingshan moved through the air and landed on the ground. Seeing the destructive footsteps of the valley in front of him, his brows tightened and thought to himself, "This guy is at least an Earth-rank demon beast." He did not go to the divine capital with Xiao Dai and the others. He stayed behind to guard the Xian Yu sect, to guard against any accidents. Rumble! From afar, there was a loud noise. An extremely large demon beast that was covered in golden armor leapt out of the forest. The golden armor was especially dazzling under the scorching sun. Gui Qingshan's gaze tensed up. Armored demon beast. "Master, what do we do now?" "It's getting closer and closer. The entire Xian Yu sect is trembling. Should we attack first? The impact from the front was getting closer and closer. They would arrive in half a minute. Gui Qingshan shook his head. No need. All of you step back. Finished. Many disciples retreated. Gui Qingshan walked forward, and the energy in his body exploded out to the maximum. This time, he did not hold back at all, as his Mahayana realm cultivation had reached its peak. It was incomparably thick. The disciples behind him were dumbfounded by what they saw. It was too shocking. Gui Qingshan knew clearly in his heart that if he did not release all of his power, he would never be able to stop this super great demon beast. Huh. In the distance, Long Fei frowned. At this moment, Kai Lina said, "There is a powerhouse in front of us." Transformers asked, "Boss, Mahayana realm, Holy SH*T, who is it?" Other than Yi Lucian, there was no other powerhouse like him with his influence. Could it be that something has happened to Xianyu's sect? Who cares who he is? We'll just run into him first. Chapter 5. Thank you for your support. Chapter 2531. The gods are about to be chaotic. Chapter 2531. The gods are about to be chaotic. Long Fei suspected that something had happened in the Xianyu sect. Otherwise, when would a powerhouse with a Mahayana realm appear? Or could it be that this powerhouse was a Ming clan? With that old hag? Thinking about it, Long Fei's anger rose even higher, and he said, "Smash him, knock him over." Transformers' chi exploded as he laughed excitedly. "As you command." Bang, 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 bang. A continuous impact. Long Fei suddenly leaped high into the air. His massive figure covered the sky and smashed down heavily. Long Fei stood on top of the Transformers' head, looking down at him. Suddenly, Long Fei's gaze tensed up. "Uncle Gui." Holy SH*T. "Break. Quick, stop the car. Quick, quick, quick." The Transformers was startled and said anxiously, "Boss, this can't be stopped." And then, Long Fei slightly moved his body as he landed and placed one hand on Transformers' head. Rumble! Rumble! Transformers took the chance and suddenly fell to the ground. Power raged. The howling sound in the surroundings was like a thunderstorm. Set for me. The power on Long Fei's body surged and rolled out, forming a huge energy barrier, blocking the Transformers. However, the power that Transformers had exploded out just now was simply too strong. He couldn't stop it all for an instant. His four limbs dug into the ground, causing the soil to roll about. The scene was extremely shocking. The people from Xianyu's sect were all dumbstruck. Who is it? Who is so powerful? Holy SH*T. Such a big fellow was blocked. Isn't it too valiant? Wow. Awesome, my brother. The Xianyu sect disciples were all shocked by the scene in front of them. Gui Qingshan was also stunned. A moment later, the Transformers finally stopped, and Long Fei coincidentally stood at the entrance of the Xianyu sect's mountain. Gui Qingshan looked at Long Fei, and a sharp light flashed in his eyes. He retracted the aura on his body immediately and said excitedly, "Long Fei, you're finally back. Long Fei, Elder Long Fei, Clan Elder Long Fei is back. It's Clan Elder Long Fei." In an instant, everyone became excited and ran over, immediately surrounding Long Fei. Long Fei's position in their hearts was too high. If not for the pills that Long Fei had refined, their cultivations would not have advanced at all. Long Fei was their benefactor. Long Fei never thought that he would be so popular. This was completely different from the scene 3 months ago where he was mocked and despised by others everywhere. He couldn't get used to it in a short period of time. Long Fei laughed. "What are you guys doing?" Gui Qingshan said, "Because the demon beast attacked the Xianyu sect, I never thought that you would return your demon beast. It seems different from 3 months ago. Transformers had appeared in the Xian Yu sect before. Impressive. But this time, the armor on Transformers was gold, and 2 heads had grown out. The aura on his body was even thicker, and he was way stronger than 3 months ago. Long Fei said, "It has become a little stronger." Gue Qingshan was startled and said, "You became a little stronger?" F***CK. Gue Qingshan wanted to curse. In the beginning, he was only a level 9 demon beast. Do you know what rank he is at now? I am thinking about how many people I can protect from Xianyu sect. Is he at least a heaven stage? 3 months to break through the heaven stage demon beast from the 9th level. Is this even worth a little? And Gue Qingshan circled around Long Fei, his pupils constricted, and his body trembled slightly as he became incomparably excited, and said, "Good boy, Mahayana realm." Ha ha ha. Tell me, what did you eat, or did you encounter a deity? Breaking through to the Mahayana realm in 3 months. No one would believe it even if word of this spread. Ha ha ha. Gue Qingshan laughed loudly. Very excited, very excited. The surrounding disciples of the Xian Yu sect were even more stupefied. The Mahayana realm was unreachable, but Long Fei only used 3 months to break through it. How fierce was this? In the hearts of the Xian Yu sect disciples, their blood boiled once again. Long Fei waved his hand. "Let's not talk about that first. What about Xiao Dai and the rest? Did you go to the gods' sect gathering?" Gue Qingshan's expression tightened and said, "We left 6 days ago, and we waited half a month for you. We didn't see you back after so long, so everyone thought that you wouldn't be coming back." Under those circumstances, it was possible that he really wouldn't come back. 6 days ago, Long Fei was startled and mumbled, "At that time, I would like to go to Magic Tribe again." Gue Qingshan asked, "Where are you?" Long Fei said, "It's not important anymore." "Oh, right, where is Yi Yorong?" Gue Qingshan's forehead tightened and said, "She went as well. Everyone is gone. Moreover, also," Gue Qingshan looked at Long Fei. He really wanted to say something, but Long Fei had already turned to Transformers and said, "Kong Kim, get up." Transformers was startled and said, "Boss, didn't we arrive here?" Long Fei said, "Target Divine Capital." Transformers was immediately excited. "You want to go to the Divine Capital? Hee hee. I like it. I've long heard that God's capital is the most prosperous place in the human world. I've long wanted to go there and see what kind of place it is. I've heard that there's a royal dragon vein right below God's capital. Boss, is there really a dragon in this world?" Long Fei stood on top of the Transformers, looked at Gue Qingshan, and said, "Uncle Gue, I'll be leaving first." As soon as he finished, boom, Transformers also rose up from the ground and turned into a kilometer away. Chapter 2532. Scoundrels. Chapter 2532. Scoundrels, boss, you still haven't told me if there are any dragons in this world. On the way to the capital, Transformers really wanted to know. With a dragon vein, there would naturally be a dragon. Otherwise, where would a dragon vein come from? Dragon, green dragon ancestor, golden dragon master, black dragon ancestor. Although their figures were only fragments of memories, they weren't very clear. However, Long Fei felt that there was a dragon in this world. Long Fei replied, "I guess so." Even now, he was not sure what exactly the scene in his memories was. Moreover, he had never seen a dragon in the Zhenwu continent. Transformers' face was full of excitement. "There really is a dragon? Ha ha ha. When the time comes, I will definitely catch one to ride on. Hee hee." A black line hung on Long Fei's forehead. Was the Transformers asking him if he had a dragon just because he wanted to catch one to ride? Transformers said, "I heard that dragons are the most noble beasts in the universal realm. If I could have one, then I would have had to show off. Ha ha." Long Fei disdainfully said, "Hurry up and go. Stop dreaming here. A dragon is a war beast." If these words were heard by a dragon, it was possible that Transformers' SH*T would be blown out of his head. How noble was the dragon? How could it be a war beast? However, Long Fei's mind suddenly turned towards the person imprisoned here in the Dragon Abyss dungeon. His entire body was covered in dragon scales as 81 dragon-locked chain passed through his body. Thinking about this scene, Long Fei's heart trembled slightly. He didn't know why. Every time this scene emerged in his mind, Long Fei's heart would sink, and for some baffling reason, he felt as if he was in pain. My current level. We're still unable to enter the Dragon Abyss dungeon. If we can enter that secret world, I will definitely save him. Long Fei secretly said in his heart he could teleport into various secret worlds. However, every secret world needed a level. He currently had the Mahayana realm, but he was still unable to enter those secret worlds. Otherwise, he really wanted to go in and see what was actually inside those secret worlds. Boom, boom. Transformers increased his speed. He wanted to get to the capital as soon as possible so that he could see the dragon earlier. Half a day later, in the southern prefecture, the city gates were surrounded by elite soldiers. Super monster. Super demon beast. Defend. Defend. Enemy attack. Countless warrior surged crazily. 10 minutes ago, they had already felt the tremors on the ground, each time more intense than the last. When they saw a gigantic black figure bounding towards them like a giant toad in the distance, their hearts trembled. However, as warrior, their duty was to protect their home. The southern prefecture was their home. No matter how strong the opponent was, they had to protect him. Long Fei could also feel the guards of the Southern County estate. The Transformers muttered, "Boss, do you want to overturn this city? With just these shrimp soldiers and crab generals, I will be able to knock them into the sky." At the Southern Prefecture, the Zhou mansion, at this moment, the entire Zhou family was in a state of panic. Why would such a great demon beast appear? What should we do? The great general has gone to the divine capital. Currently, there are simply not enough guards in the southern prefecture. My God, what should we do? What should we do? The Zhou family members were trembling in fear, as if a pot of porridge was being cooked. Zhou Yaozong was not present. The elites of the Zhou family rushed to the capital. Moreover, even the Zhou's army was secretly approaching the divine capital. Currently, the southern prefecture city was completely empty without any form of defense. At this moment, one of the guards looked up at the sky and said loudly, "All of you, quickly look up at the sky." Boom, boom. An enormous black shadow blotted out the sky and blotted out the sun. It was as if the sky had covered the entire southern prefecture manor. That scene, it was incomparably shocking. Everyone was looking at the sky. They were all stupefied and stood rooted to the ground, not daring to move an inch. After a long time, the black shadow passed by, and the sunlight shone down once again. On the other side of the southern prefecture city, the entire city shook when the sound of an explosion was heard. Bam! Another loud sound, and then it slowly faded away. Their hearts relaxed a bit less. Heavens, what was that? What's that? Is it that big demon beast? Oh my God, I have never seen such a demon beast in my life. Moreover, if he were to land, the entire southern county city would probably become ruins. That fellow seems to be rushing towards the capital. Inform the general immediately. Heaven stage demon beasts were rare. Such a blatant appearance in the human world was even rarer. Moreover, even if they had truly entered the human world after passing through the southern county, Transformers' unbridled jumping had immediately attracted the attention of countless powerhouse. The entire body of the heaven-ranked demon beast was filled with treasures. Moreover, Transformers was still dressed in his extremely flashy golden armor, which shone brightly under the scorching sun. It made people unable to keep their eyes open, making them salivate even more. Boss, why did you jump over just now? The Zhou family headquarters is located in the southern prefecture. The last time, they were almost blocked by the Zhou's army. Could it be that they won't take revenge? Transformers was also someone who held a grudge. He did not forget what happened in the Xian Yu mountain range a few months ago. Long Fei said, "There's no rush. We can take revenge for the Zhou family anytime. The most important thing right now is to rush to the capital." Long Fei was very worried in his heart. They left 6 days ago, and according to their speed, they should have almost reached the capital by now. Others might be all right, but Yurong couldn't be at ease. If she attacked again, the consequences would be troublesome. If the wedding was to take place ahead of time, then, thinking of this, Long Fei was even more worried in his heart. There were many things that he couldn't control, but no matter what, he would work hard to do them. Protect the people you want to protect. He would never let a woman he liked marry a eunuch. Absolutely not. Thus, he had to travel at full speed and reach the capital as soon as possible. At this moment, Kai Lina sent a sound transmission down and said, "Someone is following us, and there's more than just one person. It seems to be directed at Kong Kim." Kong Kim also sensed it and said, "Boss, we have a lot of flies behind us. Should we stop and clean them up?" Long Fei shook his head. "There's no time to waste. Hurry to the divine capital with all your might. There are 3 more days until God's Sect Gatherings Day. I must hurry to the divine capital before then." Long Fei did not want to waste even half a second. However, there were some things that he could not avoid just because he wanted to. In every world, there would always be a few people who like to be base and seek death. Suddenly, a few figures blocked the Transformers' path. "Ha ha ha. Brothers attack. Kill this guy, and we'll be rich." Chapter 25:33. Killing. Chapter 25:33. Killing in the eyes of others, the Transformers was the type that was extremely rich. His entire body was filled with treasures. Armor, blood essence, skin, bones. Everything was a great treasure. He was like a moving treasure trove. As long as he could kill them, he would truly be rich. As the saying goes, wealth comes from danger. Although the Transformers was extremely powerful, but no matter how strong he was just a demon beast. Then again, none of the warriors who wanted to get a share of this delicious soup were weak. "Brother, attack!" With a loud shout, a huge net covered the entire mountain peak, covering the entire Transformers. Walala! The huge net was made of steel and lock. It was extremely huge and completely sealed off the Transformers' path. Ha ha ha! A few powerhouse looked at the big net and saw that it was covering Transformers. They couldn't help but excitedly laugh. "We're rich! We're rich! Ha ha ha! We're rich! I never thought I'd still have this luck. As long as I swallow his blood essence, I can break through the 8th stage of the arrogant form. Ha ha ha! I want his golden armor. I want the fur. I want tendons and bones. Before Transformers died, his body was split into two. F***CK. Transformers was secretly angry. Seeing the huge iron net covering his face, he bellowed, "You little scum!" Roar. He roared angrily towards the sky. The sound waves were like waves as they formed into beams of light and directly shattered the huge iron chain. Crash! Countless pieces of iron scraps fell to the ground. The powerhouse S on the mountaintop were instantly stupefied. However, in the next second, their stupefied expressions became even more excited, and they had a completely ferocious expression that showed they were unafraid of death. What great power! Ha ha ha! This means that his blood essence must be stronger. The second attack. Fire! As soon as he finished. Bang, bang, bang. For huge iron nets came from 4 directions and formed a giant cage in the sky. It was just like a huge bell. Let's see how you will shatter it this time. Ha ha ha. Demon Beast are all brainless. Idiot, he thought we were just an iron net. Ha ha ha. Let's see how you will escape then. He laughed complacently. Long Fei was furious. Transformers was also angry. It was also at this time. Long Fei suddenly stood up and said slightly, "There are always those people. If you don't F***K him now, he won't know that you're his father. You like cheating, right? Then die for me." As soon as he finished, buzz. Long Fei suddenly rushed forward. His left arm moved, holding the half of the Ju K sword in his hand. The blade energy burned 10,000 meters in an instant. He leapt into the air and slashed down with his sword. Annihilate! The iron net cage instantly turned into ashes. Chapter 2534. Jade-Faced Husband. Chapter 2534. Jade-Faced Husband, hurry up, running with all his might. However, Xianyu sect was Xiaoguo's most remote place. 3 days later, huff, 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 huff. The Transformers was breathing heavily, even for a peak heaven stage demon beast like him, continuously rushing forward with all his might for 9 days. It was a little hard for him to endure. The consumption was too great. Panting heavily, Transformers looked at the city wall that was almost towering above the clouds, and he could not help but be shocked. This is the city of God. The 10,000-meter high wall was made with countless thick rocks and earth. Even divine-level demon beast would not necessarily be able to knock down this heaven-stage demon beast, let alone this heaven-stage demon beast. Moreover, in addition to the city walls, there were also crystal-clear spots of light in the distance floating in the air. The specks of light covered the entire city. It was an array formation. Once it encountered a strong attack, it would trigger the activation. This formation was also a deity-level formation. His defense was heaven-defying. It's too big. This city is too powerful. Looking from afar, it looks like Sky's city. Transformers said in shock. Zhao, Guo Imperial City. Zhen, Wu Continent's first city. It was also named the capital. The Transformers is huge, right? However, the people standing below the city walls were all the same as little Xiaobadian, not to mention humans. From the top of the city walls, the people below could not even see him clearly. Long Fei was also secretly shocked. In his previous life, the 4 great King Kong of Earth could be considered to be extremely majestic, a steel forest, right? However, compared to the god in front of him, this was simply a small matter. Huff. Long Fei also let out a heavy sigh and said, "Go back to Warpet space to rest." Transformers nodded his head and said, "Yes, I need to rest. After I have rested well, I still need to find a dragon. I want to see whether it is Long Nio or me." Long Fei rolled her eyes at him. Too lazy to tell him these things, the idea immediately took Transformers in. At this time, Long Fei walked on the wide road that was hundreds of meters wide, heading towards the city gate. Although the main road was extremely wide, the pedestrians were still very crowded, all of them rushing towards the god capital. The annual gods sect gathering was the biggest gathering on the continent. Nobody wanted to miss it. The pedestrians on the street were also discussing with each other. Who do you think is the new king this year? Needless to say, with his talent, all of the Bloodvein-S are divine level, and he was accepted by the sect of Infinitus's sect master as his successor. I heard that his cultivation has already surpassed the arrogant form state. The young man's reaction was extremely swift as well. But no matter how fast, it was slower by half a minute. As he inhaled the powder, his eyes grew dim and his head felt heavy. His vision began to overlap as he shook his head. Filthy Man glared fiercely at Long Fei, who was in the middle of the crowd. And then he smirked complacently. Little bastard, fight with my jade-faced husband and see how I'll kill you. No, killing you is such a pity. I will cripple your cultivation and sell you to a special place that serves men, causing your backyard flower to be rotated every day. Ha! Then both of his hands moved and directly struck towards the young man's abdomen, where the pubes were. His strength was extremely ferocious. If he was hit, the pubes would definitely be destroyed and his cultivation dissipated. Long Fei's body slightly moved. He wanted to make a move. However, the young man's eyes suddenly flashed with a bright light as he crossed his fists and blocked the attack of the jade-faced man. Then he snapped his fingers, grasped the vein of the filthy man. Ah, ah, ah. I was wrong. Master, I beg you, please forgive me this once. I won't dare to do that again. The jade-faced young man immediately knelt on the ground and begged for mercy. The pulse door was locked. Filthy Man panicked. The young man shouted, "Hand over the antidote." "Antidote," the jade-faced young man said. I'll hand it over immediately." The young man said, "Stop playing tricks on me, or I'll kill you." I don't dare. I would never dare." He put his hand into his pocket, and his eyes darkened. Killing intent flashed in his eyes, and his lips curled up as he shouted, "Kill me? Humph! You can go and die first." With a flick of his left hand, a red powder shot out. At this moment, Long Fei moved. Shua! Yi Zichen directly grabbed the coachman's left hand and shot him in the face. The jade mask turned into a ghost mask. Chapter 2535. Dog Tang, Renjia. Chapter 2535. Dog Tang, Renjia. Ah! The red powder sprinkled on his face, and his face immediately started to rot, as if he was sprinkled with sulfuric acid. However, this corrosiveness was even more tyrannical than sulfuric acid. The flesh on his face fell off in less than 10 seconds. All that was left was a skull. The gash on his head also instantly disappeared. Ding! Congratulations to the player, Long Fei, for killing Jade-Faced Little Lang, for obtaining 1 experience point. True Chi value is 1 point. Arrogant God energy value is 0 points. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Widow's Madness. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Mad Girl. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Men Are Crazy Too. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining Mad Sao. The system sounded out a series of notifications. Looking at the items that dropped, Long Fei felt a little depressed. Damn, what is all this? All aphrodisiacs. Furthermore, one was more brutal than the other, especially the last one. The sow is crazy. It's not that the sow became crazy after eating the aphrodisiac, but it's just that a person eating it would want to do it. How crazy was this? It actually dropped. Moreover, and it dropped this much, Long Fei didn't know whether to be happy or depressed. At this time, the young man's body trembled slightly. Even though he didn't know what had happened, he knew that Long Fei had saved his life. Long Fei took a step forward, took out an antidote pill, and said, "Take it." The young man didn't hesitate and immediately consumed it. The pill entered his throat. The spirit liquid quickly melted, and the feeling of being knocked unconscious disappeared in an instant. The young man looked at Long Fei and said in shock, "Antidote pill? This? What I just consumed was an advanced detoxification pill. My God, you actually have an absolute poison pill." The surrounding people all looked at him in surprise. Pills. It was the thing that the Zhenwu continent lacked the most, and this kind of antidote pill was even rarer. He had taken more than just an advanced detoxification pill. Rather, immortal stage. Not only would the poison be cured, it would also be immune to the same type of poison in the future. Every single pellet Long Fei refined was incomparably powerful. If he knew that he was taking an immortal stage antidote pill, he would probably jump up and down on the spot. "Wow, you're too awesome and too generous. I don't even know how to repay you." The young man was extremely excited to the point where he couldn't stop muttering, "I actually consumed an advanced detoxification pill. This is too exciting. I should have slowly experienced it just now. That is an advanced detoxification pill." Long Fei laughed and said, "No need for thanks. You saved yourself." If it wasn't for him standing up for Yorong, Long Fei would not have come to his rescue. "I saved myself?" The young man was stunned as he said, "When did I save myself?" By the time he reacted, Long Fei was already far away. He immediately chased after her and said, "My name is Tang Renjia. What's your name?" "Tang Renjia." Hearing that name, Long Fei suddenly stopped. He didn't know why. In his mind, he suddenly recalled the appearance of a person who was laughing merrily and the appearance of a husky riding on top of that person's head. Table of contents. This scene suddenly appeared. Long Fei muttered, "Tang Renjia? Why did an image appear in my mind? Who is that man mounted on a dog?" It was a very familiar name, but also very unfamiliar. Tang Renjia said, "How is it? Are you scared by my name?" Long Fei asked, "Where is the dog riding on your head?" It was very sudden. Tang Renjia was startled and said, "How did you know I liked dogs? I've always wanted to catch a very fierce dog as a war beast, a dog like Wolf, but I just couldn't find it." "Not the same person?" Long Fei asked curiously. "Why would I ask about that dog? Damn, what is in my mind?" He was a bit agitated. This was because the memories that flashed through his mind from time to time made him confused. He could not understand it at all. This is now a frequent occurrence. This was because the dragon-shaped mark ancient inheritance beneath Long Fei's right arm loosened even more. Tang Renjia asked, "What's your name?" Long Fei did not speak. Tang Renjia said, "Forget it. No matter what name you have, since you saved me, I will follow you from now on, and you will be my boss from now on." "Ha ha." He had a complacent look on his face. Long Fei replied, "It's just a detoxification pill. Don't worry about it. Look, there are beauties over there." As soon as he finished, Tang Renjia took the opportunity and looked his eyes straight. "Beauty? Where is it?" Right at this moment, Long Fei's figure moved and instantly disappeared into the crowd. He lightly exhaled and said, "Who is it you want to mix in with me? With just one detoxification pill? Then wouldn't my little brother come in groups?" Long Fei looked back. only slowing down when he didn't see Tang Renjie. However, half a minute later, Tang Renjie grabbed Long Fei's arm and said, "Boss, why didn't you wait for me? Wasn't that woman a little too ugly? Boss, your aesthetic standards have yet to improve." Long Fei was startled and looked at Tang Renjie with a stupefied expression. The main road was swarming with people. A moment of carelessness would cause him to disappear. How did he find him? Long Fei asked. "How did you find me?" Tang Renjie laughed and said, "I'm a dog." "A dog?" Long Fei was puzzled. Tang Renjie said, "As long as I have smelled your aura before within 10 kilometers, I would be able to sense your location. Hee hee." Long Fei said, "I don't believe you." Tang Renjie said, "If you don't believe me, let's try it out. If I find out, would it be okay if you took me in as your little brother?" Long Fei said, "Sure." Tang Renjie released Long Fei's arm and said with a face full of confidence, "I'll give you 1 minute. I'll stay here for 1 minute." Long Fei said, "All right." And then Long Fei's figure moved, flying at full speed, and laughed in his heart. "Within 10 kilometers, right?" Ha ha ha. It was like a whirlwind. He quickly entered the capital. 1 minute, Long Fei was already 10 kilometers away. Tang Renjie's nose moved. His eyebrows tightened. How come there's no aura of the boss anymore? That's impossible. He was completely stupefied. Tengu mode. Open! Tang Renjie's nose moved. He took in a deep breath, and after a few seconds, his eyes shone with excitement. Found it! Immediately, he quickly charged towards the god capital. Long Fei stood at the entrance of the sect's reception hall, looking at the signboard erected at the entrance with the 3 words, "Xianyu Sect," written on it. His heart relaxed. We're finally here. At this moment, a few young men dressed in the sect of Infinitas' clothes laughed proudly as they came out. "What bullsh asterisk Tigua tribe? It's just a bunch of trash." Ha ha ha. Xianyu Sect are all trash. Long Fei's gaze tensed up. He was in a bad mood. The man's eyes bulged in pain, and his face turned deathly white in an instant. He was in so much pain that he couldn't even scream, and his entire body was trembling uncontrollably. It stopped for 3 seconds. A pig-like howl burst out. The other 3 men reacted. They looked up, staring at Long Fei, who had unknowingly returned to his original position. "Brat, you're courting death. You dog, do you know who we are? You dare to attack us. I think you're tired of living." At the same moment, before the 3 of them could finish, bam, 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 3 loud bangs sounded, and then the 3 of them kneeled down. The same kneecap ruptured as fresh blood gushed out from their wounds, and they were in so much pain that they couldn't even scream. Long Fei said coldly, "It's very comfortable to make people kneel, isn't it? It's great, isn't it?" All 4 of their faces were ashen as they kneeled there like pillars. They couldn't move at all, and they couldn't crawl any longer. Unless it was a good spirit pill, they would only be ruined for the rest of their lives. If it weren't for the fact that you all have no experience at all, you would have died long ago. Long Fei said coldly, then turned and walked to the 2 guards who were watching in a daze, and asked, "Can I go in now?" The 2 guards swallowed their saliva. His lips were dry. Cold sweat trickled down his forehead. At this time, one of the disciples among the 4 sect of Infinitas used all of his strength to ask, "What is your name?" Long Fei turned around and sneered. "What? Go back and report to your master? Very well. Remember to call the most awesome person in your sect of Infinitas over." "I understand. Your father's name is Long Fei Scram." He withdrew his aura. The 4 of them instantly fell to the ground. The disciple said, "Long Fei, I'll remember this. Just you wait. Long Fei said, "Wait your mother. If you don't scram, I will make sure you will never be able to scram." The four of them shrunk their bodies and crawled out madly. The ground was covered in blood, and they were in an extremely sorry state. Being able to attract a sect of Infinita's boss was the best. Even if he couldn't attract them, he could at least attract a few elite monsters. On the flat ground of a tall building, 5 billion experience points may be a lot, but as long as it continued to accumulate, there would always be a day when it would level up. When the two guards saw that Long Fei no longer dared to mock them, they immediately took out a small notebook and flipped through it. When they reached the end, they looked at Long Fei and said, "Sire, I'm sorry, but your name is not on Xianyu sect. You cannot enter. This is a rule." Long Fei's brows tightened. "My name doesn't exist." "What do you mean?" Another guard immediately replied, "Every sect's participating god's sect gathering S will prepare a list in advance and hand it over. These list of people will be participating in the God's Sect Gathering S, but your name is not on top, so you cannot enter." He was almost forcing himself to say it. They were afraid that Long Fei would make a move. After all, the four geniuses of Sect of Infinitas were crushed in a single move. They weren't a match at all. Long Fei's brows tightened and muttered, "Why isn't my name here? Wasn't what Lucien said back then? For you to allow me to participate in the God's Sect Gathering. What exactly happened?" Long Fei couldn't understand. He was the great elder of the Pill Pavilion and was also this year's new disciple of the Xianyu sect. Suddenly, when Long Fei thought about Yi Yurong's master, his eyebrows tightened. Damn, could it be that old granny did this? And then Long Fei said, "What if I must go in?" The guard trembled. "My lord, I apologize for my earlier disrespect, but we really cannot let you in. Please don't make things difficult for us." The meaning was obvious. "Can't enter." Long Fei let out a deep breath, took a look at the inside of the door, exhaled, and said, "What happened inside?" The guard said, "The four young geniuses of Sect of Infinitas have come to challenge us, and Xianyu Sect's men have all lost, and he defeated it in one move. They are the four great geniuses of Sect of Infinitas. Master, you just made them look bad. I'm afraid you won't stop. You should leave as soon as possible. When their senior brother comes, you won't be able to leave." Chapter 2537, Trigger Tasks. Chapter 2537, Trigger Tasks Tongshen. The number one genius of Sect of Infinitas. God-level talent. Holy vein. Moreover, they had been secretly nurtured by the Sect of Infinitas Lord since they were young, and only now did they appear in everyone's field of vision. It could be said, there were very few people in Zhao Guo's territory who could compare to him in terms of talent. He was the hot candidate for God's Sect Gatherings Championship this time. Tongshen. Long Fei had never heard of it, so he did not take it to heart either. The cultivation of the disciples from the four sect of Infinitas just now was not ordinary. All of them had reached the peak of the elixir realm. However, with just this level of cultivation, he was able to completely defeat the Xianyu sect. Then what could the Xianyu sect do this time? Another guard continued, "Not all of them have lost. Before they came, Xianyu sect sent a group of people out, and from the looks of it, they are the elites of Xianyu sect." Long Fei said, "Out. Who is it?" The guard said, 5 or 6. I don't remember the names, but there was a thin man, a big man who looked as sturdy as a cow, and 2 female disciples. Long Fei immediately thought of Thin Monkey and the big-sized man, and asked, "Where did they go?" The guard replied, "We don't know about that. We're just guards at the door. How would we dare to ask about that? Xianyu sect was conferred the title of Guo tribe. No matter how brazen they were, the two little guards wouldn't dare to ask about these things. Another guard thought of something and said, I heard one of them say something about Sky Sect of Ling Clan. Sky Sect of Ling Clan? What is that place? Long Fei was not very clear about everything in the divine capital. The two guards were startled and said, even the Sky Sect of Ling Clan doesn't know. I know. Hoo. A voice came from Long Fei's back. Tang Renjia panted a little as he walked up and said, Boss, you're walking really fast. Long Fei looked at Tang Renjia with some shock. Didn't you say that your nose could only sense 10 kilometers? Tang Renjia laughed and said, that is in an ordinary 10 kilometers radius. And then Tang Renjia lowered his voice and said, my big move is already more than 10 kilometers, hee. As he spoke, his nose twitched. Long Fei was very sure now that this guy was definitely a dog. Boss, now that I've found you, you must keep your word. From today onwards, you will follow me. No, I'm the one following you. You called me boss. No, it's me who calls you boss. I'm too excited. I can't even speak properly. Ha. Tang Renjia was excited. To him, Long Fei was his savior. In here, someone who could take out an antidote pill. So casually, definitely wasn't a simple person. There was an even more important reason. He felt that following Long Fei was his mission, and it was as if an extremely special power was urging him to do so. It was as if this was his life. Long Fei could not refuse and walked down the stairs, saying, tell me what kind of place the Sky Sect of Ling Clan is. Tang Renjia's face was filled with excitement and said, to put it bluntly, Sky Sect of Ling Clan has recorded the rankings of the geniuses in the Genius Ranking Pavilion, the genius rankings of the entire continent. For example, Tongshan is ranked 6th. In my heart, the goddess Xiao Guo is ranked 4th. Boss, you must be ranked really high for being so eye-catching, right? Long Fei was startled. The gifted soul of Underworld is actually not in the top 3? Who are the first 3? Tang Renjia shook his head and said, no one knows about this because the top 3 geniuses all choose to hide their identities, but they are certain that these 3 are definitely demons. Think about it. Even the Tongshan, this kind of divine level inherent skill, can only be ranked 6th among the super geniuses of Holy Vein. Tang Renjia said, boss, you haven't told me your name yet. Long Fei said, Long Fei. Tang Renjia thought for a moment, then thought for a moment, and finally he thought for a moment and said, your name is not in Sky Sect of Ling Clan. It was loud. Many people stopped on the street to look at Long Fei. Many people began to laugh. Ha. The atmosphere was a bit awkward. A black line hung on Long Fei's forehead. Tang Renjia replied, there's no reason. Even I have a rank. How can you not have it? Long Fei curiously asked, what's your rank? Tang Renjia scratched his head and laughed. Ranked 10086. Long Fei's eyes darkened. She looked at him, and continued to look at him. However, Tang Renjia's face was filled with complacency. She did not feel any discomfort from Long Fei's stare. On the contrary, he had a complacent look on his face as he said, boss, my ranking is awesome, right? Awesome. Your face is even more amazing. Long Fei felt that Tang Renjia's skin was thicker than a city wall. Tang Renjia laughed complacently. Boss, don't be discouraged too. Sky Sect of Ling Clan will refresh the rankings once a month after God's Sect gathering passes this time. You will also be on the list. Long Fei thought about how he was not on Xian Yu Sect's participant list and could not help but ask, even if you are unable to participate, you can still be on the list? Tang Renjia replied, of course you can, other than God's Sect gathering. There's also another land banquet. What is a land banquet then? Long Fei had never even heard of it before. Tang Renjia said, simply put, It's an underground black fist, specially prepared for those who do not have the qualifications to scream and scream in God's sect gathering. This year seems to be a little different. I heard that the strongest person in the land banquet who obtains a piece of invitation card is able to enter the God's sect gathering as a person. The God's sect gathering was specially prepared for some big powers, big sects, and even some big empires. This was an exchange of pointers between geniuses in the entire continent. Similarly, some didn't even join the sects, just like the geniuses of the rogue cultivators. Someone had specially organized a banquet for them, which was the land banquet. The land banquet was simple violence. It was just an underground ring. He attacked them one by one. Similarly, the rankings of land banquet S would also enter the Sky sect of Ling Clan S, and there were even some powerhouse S that would be ranked higher than the geniuses in the God's sect gathering S. There were rumors that one of the top 3 geniuses in Sky sect of Ling Clan came from the land banquet. At this time, Tang Renjia said excitedly, "Boss, didn't you have no rankings? Let's go and fight. As long as we win the next match, there will be a ranking, and then you will also be a genius of Sky sect of Ling Clan. Although he can't catch up to me, he's at least on the leaderboard." Long Fei glared at him. Long Fei had no interest in underground boxing or land banquet. Right now, he just wanted to find Ioram. He also wanted to obtain the qualifications to participate in the God's sect gathering S. However, at this moment, the system had sounded out a notification sound. Long Fei instantly had a bad premonition. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for triggering the quest. Are there a lot of girls who asked for his autograph? Long Fei shook his head and laughed at Tang Renjia's ruminative look. Tang Renjia continued, "Perhaps my goddess is also in the Sky sect of Ling Clan." At that time, wow, just thinking about it makes my blood boil. Long Fei asked, "In the end, who created the Sky sect of Ling Clan? Is it the Zhao Guo royal family or some other sect?" He was very curious. Zhen Wu continent was only the size of a grain of dust in universal realm. Was it not very small? But he was hundreds of times bigger than Earth. How much energy would it take to record the talents of the entire continent? Even the Zhao family, which had a special status, did not have that much power. Tang Renjia said, "You don't know about that, right? The power behind the Sky sect of Ling Clan is so great that you cannot even imagine it." Long Fei asked, "How old? Could it be the God's tribe did this?" Tang Renjia's eyes immediately sunk as he stared at Long Fei. "Damn, boss is indeed boss, all right. I guessed right in an instant. The God's tribe truly did do it, and the headquarters of Sky sect of Ling Clan is in Universal Realm. This is only a branch with God's tribe's power. Wanting to find out the true genius of a plane is too easy." However, Tang Renjia feigned mysteriousness as he lowered his voice and said, "I always felt that the reason why God's tribe was established was not pure. Think about it. In the billions of planes in the universal realm, every genius has been recorded. If anyone is disobedient and even knows the location of your ancestor's grave, wouldn't that be turning the tables? This move is very sinister. But God's tribe is the leader of the universal realm S. If you are selected by him, it would be because of the smoke coming out from the ancestral tombs." Tang Renjia's voice was sour. Long Fei trembled slightly. He did not think of this. Hearing Tang Renjia's words, his mind tensed up. Just as Tang Renjia had said, God's tribe's move was too brilliant and also too sinister. Geniuses who controlled every plane. By mastering these geniuses, one could grasp the entire plane. This method was too brilliant. Moreover, in the billions of planes beneath the universal realm, every warrior dreamed of becoming a descendant of God's tribe. to be recorded by the Sky sect of Ling clan as a symbol of status, a noble. He was completely engrossed in it, just like the warriors on the Zhenwu continent. Every one of them squeezed their way through to enter the Sky sect of Ling clan's ranking list. Long Fei laughed and said, "Aren't you also ranked 10,086? Perhaps one day you will be selected by the gods' tribe." Tang Renjia said with a face full of contempt, "I won't go even if you pick. What's so special about God's tribe? Just like how a tyrant oppresses hundreds of millions of planes, I am already very unhappy. If you really get selected, I'm afraid you won't even have enough time to be happy." "You're not satisfied?" Long Fei laughed. "To be selected by the God's tribe, what kind of honor was that? The entire plane's powerhouse would be envious. In the entire plane of the world, any girl could have their own way. How cool was that?" Tang Renjia said, "I definitely will not dance with God's tribe. I feel annoyed just watching them dance. What the hell are they? I don't want to be a lackey in God's tribe. Dogs. Who knows how many people wanted to be the dogs of God's tribe?" This was, after all, the God's tribe-s, the supreme existence. He was the commander of 1,000,000,000,000 planes of existence. To be able to become a dog of the God's tribe, one could walk sideways, just like the Zhao family's old freak. If not for the God's tribe, would he be able to establish Zhao Gua? They walked for about an hour. Tang Renjia pointed to a building in front of them that looked like a 9-story pagoda and said, "That is the Sky sect of Ling clan. How about it?" "Awesome." The 9th floor. Each floor was tens of meters high, and the building alone was more than 800 meters. Moreover, from below, it was impossible to see what the top looked like. Each level was carved with strange runes. This is the God's tribe inscription. At first glance, Long Fei felt that he had seen something before, and fragments of memories popped up. Killing God altar, 10th heaven? Why do I feel that it's so familiar? Tang Renjia looked at Long Fei with furrowed brows and said, "Was I scared? This is my first time seeing Sky sect of Ling clan being more shocked than you are. The Sky sect of Ling clan is divided into 9 levels, and the higher the level, the higher the ranking. At the top of the ranks, there will be the top 3 monstrous geniuses. Let's quickly enter." "Wow, so many beautiful girls." "Ha ha ha. I'm ranked 10086, so I'm going in to act tough." Tang Renjia was extremely excited as he walked into the Sky sect of Ling clan. Long Fei stood at the entrance and looked at the 2 statues of the God of Heaven on top of the gate of the Sky sect of Ling clan. Long Fei had a very unpleasant feeling in his heart. Under his right arm, a power was surging. Chapter 2539, Genius Ranking List. Chapter 2539, Genius Ranking List. He felt inexplicably unhappy. That moment of irritation. A ball of fire rose from within his body. Anger was completely out of Long Fei's control. He didn't know why, but he felt extremely unhappy. This kind of displeasure gave him the urge to go on a rampage. He wanted nothing more than to smash those 2 statues to pieces. He wanted to destroy the entire 9th floor's Sky sect of Ling clan. Beneath his right arm, a surge of power surged out like a roar. Long Fei stared at the 2 statues of the God of Heaven, looking at the surrounding gods' tribe inscriptions. The anger in his heart continued to burst. What happened to me? How come I can't control my body? Holy *T. Why do I have the urge to destroy this 9-floor pagoda? Humph. Who? Long Fei retracted his gaze and forcefully took in a few breaths, trying his best to calm himself down. He did not think about the statue of the God of Heaven and the God's tribe's inscriptions anymore. Calm down. Long Fei walked into the Sky sect of Ling clan and when he arrived at the foot of the two statues, he could not help but, bah! He spat on the statue, an uncontrollable movement. Then, Long Fei walked into the sky sect of Ling Clan. The instant he stepped into sky sect of Ling Clan, light poured down from the top of the door. Half a second later, the light on Long Fei's body dimmed, and did not leave any trace of light. At this moment, a few more men walked in. Just like Long Fei, they were also enveloped by the light, but there was still some light remaining on their bodies. Very strange. Long Fei did not do anything. It looks big on the outside, but the inside of the tower was much larger and was about the size of a football field. Long Fei was shocked once again. This tower is also a spatial spirit treasure. I didn't expect there to be such a large space inside. The interior was also packed with people, all of them young people. Many of them were young masters and masters dressed in gorgeous clothes, while there were also seductive and charming women. The walls of the pagoda were like stones, clean and flawless. There were countless names branded on it, and under the names were a series of long numbers. These names were not stored permanently, and they would automatically be refreshed after a month. This was the first level, ranking from 10,000 to 20,000. Long Fei casually gave it a glance, but did not have much interest. On the other hand, Tang Renjie was laughing complacently from afar, surrounded by a group of middle-aged young girls whose faces were painted with rouge and water powder. Long Fei laughed, then walked to the second floor, because this was the first time he did not discover Yurong and the others. "I'm sorry, but you can't enter." There were two guards on the second level who blocked Long Fei's way. Long Fei was slightly stunned. Seeing the people beside him walk up to the second floor one after another, he did not understand, and said, "They can all go, but why can't I?" One of the guards said, "Because of your identity." Long Fei asked, "What is their identity?" Another guard said, "Why waste time with a piece of trash? Kid, you do not have a single bit of light on you, and you can't even enter the sky sect of Ling Clan's ranking board, yet you want to enter the second floor? Humph, you're just a piece of trash. Get lost." The guard's voice was loud. Many people looked at Long Fei, and many began to laugh. "Ha ha ha. You can tell you're a country bumpkin just by looking at it. You want to enter the second level without even reaching the light of Ling Tian? Why didn't he just go straight to heaven? Why did you not enter the leaderboard? So he's a country bumpkin. He looks like trash. Ha ha ha." Many people began to mock him. Long Fei frowned. At this time, Tang Renjie rushed forward and directly ran to Long Fei's side and shouted, "Laugh at your mother. Who is laughing at you? Let me see. I'll kill him." When everyone saw the light of Ling Tian on Tang Renjie's body, they all trembled. 10086 was ranked very high on the first level, which meant that most of the people here weren't his match. This was a world where the powerhouse was king. Seeing Tang Renjie standing up for Long Fei, many people immediately shut their mouths, no longer daring to laugh. Tang Renjie had a face full of pride and said, "He's my boss. Let's see who's laughing at him again." And then Tang Renjie stood behind Long Fei and said in a low voice, "Boss, if you want to enter the second floor, you must reach a rank below 10,000. Otherwise, you don't have the qualifications to enter." Did you see the light coming from our bodies? These are all from Ling Tian light. They are unique within the sky sect of Ling Clan. The brighter your body is, the higher your rank is. So don't mess with those glistening people. They are all monstrous geniuses. Tang Renjie warned carefully. At this time, a voice came from the second floor. "He dares to be so arrogant with a mere ranking above 10,000. Why, aren't you putting on an act? A trash below 10,000 renminbi." As soon as he finished, a few men came out. Tang Renjie wanted to curse in rage, but when he turned around, his eyes darkened. The few men's waists were like lanterns hanging. The light was dense. Clearly, he was ranked higher than him. His strength was naturally above him as well. Tang Renjie immediately laughed apologetically and said, "I'm sorry, we are leaving now." Finished, Tang Renjie pulled Long Fei and wanted to leave. However, Long Fei did not move and said, "I want to go upstairs." Puchi, ha ha ha. Those men couldn't help but laugh out loud. Is this a place that trash can enter? With just your over 10,000 pieces of trash. Tang Renjie's expression darkened. "Boss, this is not a place to act cool. Let's hurry up and go. They can't be provoked." I tried my best to pull Long Fei away, but Tang Renjie used all of his strength, but to no avail. He just could not pull Long Fei away. Long Fei stared at the few men and asked, "What is your rank?" The man proudly said, "Rank 37,868. Wow, what a high ranking to be able to enter the 3rd floor of Sky Sect of Ling Clan. So powerful. Big brother, you're so strong. More than 3,000 powerhouses." Tang Renjie's eyes darkened again and pulled Long Fei back, saying, "Boss, don't cause trouble. We can't afford to offend them." "Oh." Long Fei responded indifferently. He turned to look at the guard and asked, "Then if I defeat them, will I be able to get to the 3rd floor?" When Tang Renjie heard this, his entire being turned bad, and he immediately whispered into Long Fei's ears, "Boss, they are royal guards. You cannot offend them. You mustn't provoke them no matter what." Long Fei was not moved. The gatekeeper replied, "That's the theory." However, those few men burst out into laughter. "A trash like you can't even enter the ranking list, yet you want to challenge me? Take a piss and look at yourself." Ha ha ha. At this moment, Long Fei's figure moved. Pa! His slap descended, and the man that spoke fell to the ground. Chapter 2540, Crown Prince Zhao Haotian. Chapter 2540, Crown Prince Zhao Haotian. Pa! A resounding slap across the face. The man's laughter continued to echo, but at this moment he was lying unconscious on the ground. He fell to the ground with a slap. Shock. The entire audience quieted in an instant, and all eyes were focused on Long Fei. His jaw dropped. Tang Renjia was also dumbfounded. He did not expect Long Fei to be so strong. He thought Long Fei was an alchemy master or some other rich young master. After all, there were not many people who could take out a detoxification pill. But he never thought that Long Fei would be able to instantly slap over 3,000 experts in the Sky sect of Ling clan. This was too unbelievable. Tang Renjia couldn't react for a long time. Seeing that Long Fei did not have any expression, admiration rose up in his heart. Damn, that's too awesome. Long Fei looked at the guard and asked, "Can I go to the 3rd floor now?" The 2 guards were also confused. Looking at Long Fei and the others, they were unable to say a word because everything had happened too quickly. So fast they couldn't react. Looking at the fallen man, the 2 guards stammered out, teach that. So soon. So fast. Holy shit, he's ranked in the top 3,000. This should be an expert. How did he instantly become an expert? There must be a secret. This guy must have spent money to buy it. That must be it. This kid hasn't even entered the Sky sect of Ling clan's ranking list. What kind of cultivation does he have? How could he knock the 3,000-odd experts unconscious with a single slap? Everyone was discussing. They did not think that Long Fei was weak, but that the man was too weak. At this time, the other men all retreated in an instant and surrounded Long Fei. They clearly knew in their hearts what cultivation the man on the ground had. He was at the 8th level of the refinement stage. With a slap, he fell to the ground. Even if it was a sneak attack, it wouldn't be completely devoid of any reaction. The kid in front of him wasn't simple. The 3 of them locked their eyebrows and stared at Long Fei, saying, "Brat, you must be tired of living." Long Fei raised his eyes, stared at the 3 people, and said, "Do you guys want to fall on the ground as well?" Very pretentious. How arrogant. A few ordinary words to Long Fei were very dull and ordinary. But to the people around him, this was incomparably savage. Savage to the extreme. Tang Renjia sighed again. "You're acting too arrogantly." "No way. We can't mess with these guys." Tang Renjia was very clear about the identities of these people. There were some people that could not be touched in the capital, and imperial guards could not be provoked. Moreover, the appearance of 4 people in a group, what did this mean? This meant that they still had a master here. So if they provoked that master, it would be even worse. Immediately, Tang Renjia quickly ran to Long Fei's side and said, "Boss, forget it. Let's go. We'll come again next time. We'll come again next time." If this went on, something really bad would happen. "You want to leave?" A man said solemnly, "You 2 pieces of trash. Can I see if you can escape now?" Long Fei stared at him and said coldly, "Seems like you really want to lie on the ground." Before he finished his sentence, Long Fei's figure disappeared. The other 2 men shouted at the same time, "Watch out!" At the same time, the 2 of them attacked at the same time, but they could not even see Long Fei's figure. Furthermore, the moment they moved, pah! Another resounding slap landed. Bam! The man who spoke fell to the ground. He was unconscious. The audience was once again stunned. This time, many of them opened their eyes wide to look, but he still did not see clearly how Long Fei had attacked. Tang Renjia was completely dumbfounded. He had obviously grabbed onto Long Fei's hand, but in that instant, he didn't know how Long Fei had managed to struggle free. If this was a sneak attack, then this was a frontal assault. The result was the same. 1 slap in an instant. It was so fast that it was suffocating. The pupils of the remaining 2 guards darkened as their bodies trembled uncontrollably. Long Fei looked at them indifferently. "Do you still want to lie on the ground?" Too arrogant. What a complete mess. He had come to the capital just to cause trouble. No matter who you were, no matter where you were, provoking your father was just one word. Fuck. What did it upgrade to? Wasn't it just to act cool? If the 9th level Mahayana still pretended to be weak, then it would not be able to level up much. Then what the heck did he become? This was simply not Long Fei's personality. After 2 consecutive slaps, over 1,000 people in the first floor were rendered speechless by Long Fei, and quite a few people on the second floor were also shocked by Long Fei. As Tang Renjie was getting excited, he exclaimed in his heart, "Ancestor, can we keep a low profile? You know who you are fighting against?" Long Fei looked at the gatekeeper and said, "Can I go up now?" The 2 guards felt their throats go dry. For a moment, they didn't know what to do, because this had never happened before. Someone who wasn't even in the top 3,000 was instantly overturned by this powerhouse who was ranked around 3,000. This exceeded their expectations. It might appear outside. This was because the opponents that many geniuses would meet outside were different. The strongest powerhouse on this continent were still those old monsters and not youngsters. However, Long Fei was also a young man, not even 20 years old. This was still the Sky Sect of Ling Clan. No name yet. Wasn't this person a genius? Why wasn't there his name? At this time, they didn't have time to think about it, because just at this time, a dozen or so guards suddenly rushed out and shouted loudly, "Who is causing trouble at Sky Sect of Ling Clan?" Boom, boom, boom. The sound of his steps was filled with a boundless, domineering aura. A thick aura burst forth, completely crushing the first level. Tang Renjie's heart sank as he said, "Not good." He had forgotten to tell Long Fei that he should not make a move in Sky Sect of Ling Clan, or else the consequences would be very tragic. The other 2 immediately laughed. "It's him." "Brat, you're finished." In the blink of an eye, a dozen or so Sky Sect of Ling Clan guards surrounded Long Fei, and the other 2 and shouted, "Whoever dares to cause trouble in the Sky Sect of Ling Clan, take them all away." The 2 of them exchanged a glance before taking out a golden medallion from their robes. "We are the guards of the Crown Prince's residence." Seeing that, the expression on the Sky Sect of Ling Clan's guard changed. He looked at Long Fei and said, "You dare to make a move on the guards of the Crown Prince's residence? Capture him immediately." Seeing that Long Fei did not escape, Tang Renjie asked softly, "What do we do now?" Long Fei swept his eyes across and said, "Cheers." The 9th floor. Yurong looked at the name on the wall. Behind her stood a man. The man's face was white, and his skin was even better than a woman's. His eyes were fixed on Yurong's back, his left hand holding a white handkerchief, and his right hand pinching his orchid finger. Hearing the noise below, he couldn't help but frown and say unhappily, "What happened next?" A voice came from outside the door. Reporting to the Crown Prince, the 2 guards from the Crown Prince's residence had fainted. The man's face sank. "If you dare to touch my men, kill him." "Yes, sir." The man was none other than someone whose life force had been crippled. Crown Prince Zhao Haotian. You're tuning in to the Mystic Fist YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.